Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. Sorry about the delay. With me today, of course, I have a guest. I should probably introduce him. Joe from Good Lawgic.
Good evening. How are you, Nick?
I'm good, man. How are you?
When I was talking to you for the last 10 minutes, I was sure that we were actually live with everyone else. So there you go.
Yeah, no, we were not live.
I got that now.
Not at all. I do stupid things from time to time. They all involve technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I got these new headphones. These are Bang & Olufsen Bayo Play Portal headphones that I got to mess around with my Xbox. So maybe I can do some streaming from my living room on the Xbox. And I was like, okay. The cool thing about these Bang & Olufsen headphones is that I will be able to have them also connected to my computer. And that'll be great through Bluetooth, wireless, because wireless is cool. I like wireless things. I don't want a stupid cable hanging off my fucking head. But what happened in actuality was the audio just keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I figured it out. My computer sits below my desk, which is full of metal and wood and glass. So if I put my computer up on my desk, right? And then it'll have a clearer shot for the Bluetooth and there won't be any interference. Wrong. There still is interference. I can be like 40 feet away from a phone, but for a computer, no, I can't. I hate it. So because I moved that, then I'm like plugging everything in. And of course I get there and when I hear you, it's just choppy from time to time, needlessly choppy. I don't know why. So I got to do more troubleshooting with it. I really, really hate that. I don't know if it's because my case has tempered glass and metal all over it, because it's a computer case. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. But
the sad thing is, you're the one who walked me through setting up my OBS audio and video. So that's how much of a boomer I am, that my mentor is like a junior boomer.
Right. You should, you should consider, I can't even say the joke. You should consider self-harm because you already considered self-harm by asking me for audio help.
Yeah, no, seriously. I've had my own issues. I was streaming this thing out, went live, and there was no audio coming from my computer. So the first 10 minutes, nobody heard anything, and I had no clue how to fix it. So much so, I actually had to restart the streaming, run it through OBS instead of StreamYards, because I was doing it through StreamYards, and I was like, I don't know how to adjust. Maybe you know how to adjust the volume settings on the screen that you're sharing. You obviously do, because you're able to play this thing out now.
Well, I'm not using OBS. We're using the StreamYard thing.
Right.
Or you were using StreamYard.
I was using StreamYard. It wasn't working. No one could hear the audio. So I'd love to know how if anyone hears this, it'll be interesting if no one hears it. That'd be kind of cool. But
well, we'll see. Everything I do is just an invitation to disaster. And speaking of which, I need to bring up Streamlabs. So Streamlabs chats are not going to show up on the screen like they normally do. I forgot about that when setting this up through StreamYard. But there's someone who has offered to help me out in figuring out how to get a multiplay thing set up for OBS, where my guests can actually see what I see. But I haven't taken the time to do it because learning new things is horrible.
Right. You actually slowed down in kicking out videos. I noticed there was a period there of a month where you were even when you're on vacation, you're just no, I'm going to make 4 new videos today. And no one realizes how many hours it takes to actually put that stuff together. It's
and I'm 100% trying to get back there.
Mm-hmm.
I just I need to get a rhythm to do it. That's because that is something I feel is really, really well. It is. It's not. I feel it is really important for channel growth and engagement. As much as I hate it, I wish I could just do live streams. In
Right.
all honesty, but YouTube will not. It just they don't allow growth when you do that.
Yeah, people don't
So,
realize that live streams are like that's fun work. That's like
yeah.
I'm watching something, I'm joking around with someone, I'm joking around with my audience. The audience engagement like makes it like it's not work. It's like really actually kind of cool, especially if you have a strong audience and they're clever. It's really awesome. It's an awesome job. Creating videos is just a nightmare. I mean, it's like it's real work. So
Yeah. It gets annoying. But anyway, Bang & Olufsen is made in China by slave labor. Good. Good. I am pro slave labor when it comes to giving me things. All right, let me hit a couple.
Does slave labor mean that Kamala Harris's inmates were the ones who did it, or because she's the only slave owner America's had in the last 150 years?
Okay, let me do the super chats that have come in already, because how YouTube, their blissful new organization, removes the early super chats. Like wonderful system that makes a lot of sense. And then we can jump into the video of Biden's address to Congress, which is clocked in at just at an hour. So that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love listening to Joe Biden for 1 hour.
Oh yeah. No, that's a dream come true. I already listened for 1 hour, so for me it's like 2 hours. But you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. It's great stuff. Great stuff tonight. Great.
Yeah, MacGyver, man, I'm really far from the Wi-Fi hub, and I don't use Wi-Fi connection on my computer. So thank you for the advice. I gotta just play with different configurations. I naively thought that I could just get everything set up right before the show. That was dumb. Okay, so let's start. Joskby says, I had to resubscribe tonight despite tuning into the show nearly every stream. WTF YouTube, first time that has happened to me. Woke is good. Yeah, I have forwarded that to my partner manager, because my partner managers, each one of them, have all said that YouTube does not remove active viewers. Because that's what they're told. It's not that they're being malicious or nefarious there. That's what they're told. They're fed the same line that we all are. And I want them to know that that is not true. So I will torture them with facts and logic. West Nile Chan says, can't stay tonight, Nick, but wanted to ask about shilling etiquette on your locals page. Notice members can post freely, but don't want to abuse the privilege. Have a good show. I don't see, I mean, as long as you're not spamming, you're welcome to trial by fire, man. If people don't like your post, they'll probably just tell you to, eat shit or whatever.
You see, you're generous, because a lot of locals hosts will limit the ability to comment to paid subscribers. So that's a locals thing. Is it?
Yeah, locals. I think if you don't subscribe to anyone on locals, I think you have to spend $2 in general to comment somewhere. But yeah, no, mine is open to whoever can comment on locals. But yeah, for whoever, I think only I think to comment you might have to subscribe. But that's not like a me thing, that's a locals thing. That's how they do it. So you can read stuff, but if you want to participate, you got to subscribe. Mm-hmm. But if you are subscribed, I mean, by all means, post, use it. Build community, talk, chat, shill your stuff. And if people hate it, they should tell you that they hate it. That's the way that everything should work.
And mock you ceaselessly. You ceaselessly.
Ridicule is a lost art, and it's so effective.
Yeah.
I know it's effective because I have seen Law Twitter, and they don't respond well to ridicule. And these are supposed to be like professional people with high-level degrees, and they're like, how dare you call me a dumbass?
Right, that's because they're very beta, so like they can't handle any. It reminds them of like those awful days in third grade when they were like being picked on for being the smart one in the class. and yeah, had no social skills at all. So
Wolfgang Deo says the world should be working towards arriving at Alpha Centauri, not this crap. Also, cancer cannot be eradicated. Screw the president and his speech. Well, you'll have to go through Jill Biden if you want to screw the president. Bunch of question marks says, I'm going to be homeless in just over 3 weeks. Any advice on how I can get by while being able to keep my full-time job and car? Wait, so you're going to be homeless, but you have a full-time job and a car. Why are you going to be homeless? That leads me to so many questions that I don't understand.
It's like we have way more questions than before we started this.
Like, have you tried one of those like weekly rental hotels or whatever that are furnished?
Maybe he has a really expensive car that he's leasing, like a really expensive car.
Live in the car.
Yeah,
it's that nice. One of the wealthy people I know bought a Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
And this person has they have a big ass house. It's, I don't know, it's like 7,000 square feet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice house in a gated community and all this stuff. And we're driving around in the Porsche. And I was like, I bet you spent more per square foot on this car than you spent on anything in your entire life. And he looked at me and he looked a little wistful and he said, yes. And then he drove 90 miles an hour down a residential street and it was awesome.
And I'm prohibited from getting a Porsche. I'm not able to get one because that's for Nazis. That's from the Nazis. That's what I would hear.
It reminds me of the tanks. Yeah. Oh my God. No.
You think you're running through a forest in Poland or something. I don't know.
Oh no, we're going to hell. Wolfgang Deo says hate is a strong word. Stop using it, Democrats. Why are we allowing each other to so freely use the word hate? Stop. I do not like that word. Jonathan Sweet says accused of harassment. Does saying things pointed out by the accuser were twisted help? I pointed at a hole in her pant leg. She says I tried to stick my hand down her pants. Admitting to anything is admitting to everything, though. Yeah, here's what you say. I did not try to stick my hand down her pants ever because I don't put my hand near spider layers. No, I mean, you definitely want to avoid saying that you did anything inappropriate at all. Just there's no need to explain the alternative action on this stuff. If you weren't sexually harassing someone, then you weren't sexually harassing someone. Not I may have been bothering them or getting to. No, you just weren't sexually harassing them. If you weren't trying to stick your hand down her pants, then you weren't. There's no mitigation necessary on this stuff. Joe, I guess you chime in on this. What do you think? Should you ever mitigate a denial?
No. First of all, you mitigate, and I think he actually touched on that. Any kind of admission is just sort of is awful. If anything, I would spin it 180. I would spin it why are you you're sexually harassing me by even making a suggestion I'd have any interest in touching you. I'm kind of repulsed. And
right. You're wearing Walmart pants.
Yeah.
I mean, please.
You have a hole in your pants. Why would I want to touch you?
Exactly. You're basically homeless. Try getting a job, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would avoid mitigating. In all honesty, that especially with these Me Too accusations, because that's what we've been seeing over the past year to 2 years. I mean, even Quentin Flynn just won his lawsuit. The person completely fabricated their accusations against him. However, in his denial / apology, he made it a / apology. And so even though he denied everything and won a lawsuit saying that he didn't do any of the stuff he was accused of, people are like, but he admitted to all this other stuff.
And that's because the left never apologizes for anything. So they feel like if you're apologizing for something, you must have a guilty conscience and you know you did something wrong. So that's what they read into it, that I would never apologize for anything unless I knew I was really guilty. If this guy's apologizing, it's not because he's got better character than I do. It's because he's got a guilty conscience and he really did something wrong. So they sort of their twisted philosophy is why they have that projection that you're actually guilty by apologizing. And that's why you can't.
Right.
can't give in. Don't give anything.
And they wouldn't apologize for murdering someone because that bigot deserved it. So you don't need to apologize for anything.
There's no apologies for Micaiah Bryant. Micaiah Bryant was an innocent teen girl who was just involved in a knife fight. And she was gunned down. When you first heard the story about Micaiah, let me ask you this: when I first heard it, I heard as the Chauvin jury is about to return with a verdict, white cop kills innocent teen black girl, and I pictured some girl on a swing in front of her parents' house, and also this
all
this
I have going ahead of me is my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, exactly, and swinging back and forth with the black pigtails and looking so cute and everything, and and you can actually hear every time she goes backward, you hear a little creak in the swing, and then all of a sudden white cop comes up there and says, "Why are you here on this swing?" Pulls out a gun and just blows her away. That's
blam,
what I
blam, blam.
Right. It's like
get down.
Yeah, and in my vision, he had a much bigger gun than any cop has had in the last 30 years. He had this.
Yeah, he's got the dirty
48.
Harry.
Yeah. And then
it's 44 Magnum, Micaiah.
Right, you see the
Do
video.
You feel lucky, Punky Brewster. Blam, blam, blam.
Punky Brewster. Any of your fans are old enough to remember Punky. So yeah. And then you see the video, and she's this crazed slasher. She basically looks like she's reenacting Scream 3, and she's coming in there with a knife and just oh, I missed this girl. Let me get that other girl over there. And you're yeah. This whole imagery I had has been blown away.
Did you see what I think is overlooked in that video? Do you remember the dad? It's not her dad, but the dad guy.
The kicking dad.
Yeah, field goal kicking the chick who gets knocked down.
Yes.
Why aren't we talking about that? What the hell is that?
Yes.
I mean, he's he has follow through. His foot's up at his face when he's done with that thing.
What do you think the story was that led to this whole melee? First of all, do you think Micaiah was really the one who called the cops? Because that's the whole story, that she called the cops and didn't plan on them actually coming to kill her. But first of all, I don't believe that's true. I don't think she's the one who called the cops. I mean, they claim that's what the story is, but there's so many lies when they tell a story to make the right look as terrible as possible.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, look, it may turn out to be true, but off the cuff, I don't assume that it's true. But what do you think could have led to this whole, besides a guy? The only thing I can imagine, it was a guy.
Oh, God. Joe.
What?
You're recording a TikTok dance to the Beyonce song.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what was going. The stabby was off step. It's the 8th time they're trying to record the video. And then, they're going to get done. They're going to have ice cream or whatever. And that bitch just kept screwing up. This is easy. Yeah, this is easy.
So you're saying you're picturing Micaiah doing all the single women, like she's
yeah
marching around a little circle there, and the one in the pink was off time. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't something I imagined it being, but I guess who knows?
That's what it was. I promise you. Look, I'm an expert. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, whatever happened, even if she did call the police. When I call the police, I don't chase someone down to stab them. I mean, if you chase them out of the house with a knife, you've accomplished your plan.
Pretty much. Pretty
you don't
much.
Need follow through.
Yeah. That was, yeah. So my point is, the reason I went into Micaiah, I don't want to go into old news, but the reason I went into her is because even after they saw the video, they still paint her out like she was Virgin Mary, and how on earth. Because they don't admit anything. They can't admit that, hey, this was a crazy slasher girl and that she was about to kill someone, because they do not admit anything. That's how this conversation, that was the genesis of this conversation, where I was they just will not admit anything that they think.
You can't. They're right. They're telling us exactly how to do everything. The thing is, the right has been too dumb to listen for the past 20 years at exactly how to manage the social PR aspect of every single thing. Mm-hmm. Never admit, always frame it in the light most favorable to you. Call the other person a racist if they disagree. And that's all you, that's how we need to take crisis management. Any
That's
PR firm operating right now needs to be shut down. They need to have boards and bars on all their doors and windows, and they need to be they need to wear like a special badge or something and be ridiculed for the rest of their lives, because they still tell people right now, they're like, okay, what you got to do is you got to just make your apology, admit you did bad things, and then you go away for 6 months. You go to a rehab of your choice. Look, do you want to do gay conversion therapy, or would you like to do rehab for alcohol, or would you like the full Johnny Depp? What do you need to do? And then you go away for 6 months, and then you come back and everybody will love you. It doesn't work like that anymore. And it hasn't for a while, but they just keep selling the lie.
Yeah.
And true. I hate it. I hate all of them. Okay, next we've got, Jonathan Sweet continues with, the company does value honesty, I think. And I've denied everything so far. How do you handle these things at work? Keep denying. I mean, keep denying that you did anything wrong, because the moment you give them something that you did, you're real like, well, I did stick my hand down her pants. You're done.
Right.
Game over. Even if you were trying to pull a grenade out and throw it, selflessly sacrificing your own hand to save her entire life. Don't admit to it, man. Mm-hmm. There's no upside to an admission that is an admission of a fact that is not representative of the truth. How's that?
You're about to play Shaggy Wasn't Me, right? That's what's coming right now.
It wasn't me. No, but I mean, that's the thing. And this is how lawsuits, civil suits in particular, well, no, civil and criminal suits. The idea is they want to build a fact scenario in which you are liable, but you want to avoid giving them a fact that they can use, especially when that fact is not representative of the truth of the matter. And that's what depositions are for, is getting as many facts as you can to try and frame a scenario that is favorable, whether or not those facts are actually representative of the situation, because it's not your job as a lawyer to find out the truth of the issue. It's your job as a lawyer to convince the other side that your version of the facts is correct, or to convince a fact finder.
It's all about framing. It's all about framing. It's like, which angle are we going to look at this from, which will just highlight and hide the warts on my client and highlight all the warts on my opponent.
Right.
And Annie's short and fat, like,
yes. Yeah.
Let's get that shot. Let's get that picture where the belt is hanging a little low. See how fat he is? Fatso. Yeah.
Russell Crowe. Yeah. In fact, he's so short. He's standing in this room, but you didn't know because he's just under the table.
Right.
Okay, next. Wolfgang Deo says, thanks, Biden, for the speech. Confirms that this country is ableist, sexist, and racist, at least in the blue states and blue areas. Sheesh, WTF. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Joshua Vidrine says, hey, chat, I normally don't do $20 supers. Well, I'm glad you did today. Thank you. But let me tell you, Good Lawgic is the one thing that kept me sane listening to the Corpse and Chiefs speech tonight. I'm serious. He deserves you. I swear I'm simping for him with money. I'm glad that he simped to me for you. That was awesome.
Who was that?
Joshua Vidrine.
Oh, Josh is awesome. You owe me his money. He loves me.
Sounds good. I'll buy liquor the next time we see each other.
We're on.
William Smith says, you do stupid things from time to time, more like for a living. Look, when you're right, you're right. Mr. Bentham says, this is for two of my favorite YouTubers. Hello there, Joe.
Hey.
The gray one says, even Nick, I saw Crowder cover this live. You hear what happened to Rudy. You think we opened Pandora's box yet for something bad to happen? I mean, I heard that Rudy got searched. I didn't hear anything beyond that. Is there any more news? I mean, they executed a search warrant at Rudy's house
at 6 in the morning. At 6 in the morning, and it's basically, he's just too attached to Trump for them to ever let him go. So it reads like weaponization of the FBI, but the FBI was weaponized even while Trump was in power. You think that's going to slow down now that he's gone? I mean,
yeah, I don't think there's anything super surprising about that. Next is Mana Online says, sent you some pro tips regarding Bluetooth audio and Discord DMs. I switch between it and cord it all the time. If you have questions, I can help. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I will review them. Okay, and there are a couple early Discord chats that I need to get, or not Discord, Streamlabs. Yeah, Streamlabs chats that came in. Mario Carter 13 says a half empty room with an audience that's barely conscious. Say what you want about the content of the speech, but at least optically it was on brand.
Yes, I actually made the same comment that he's so accustomed to talking to like 6 people and a couple of empty circles that this is what he campaigned on. He campaigned on, I'm really good at talking to a few people in a small area, in an area which like, you know, a bunch of circles here of, because the room, it looks so barren. It looks so barren. It's sad. It's really sad.
The Pie Baker says, in regards to the Canada Church, in school, I was Me Too'd because I asked out a Christian thought while being a heathen. As I fell to the floor in devastation after years of dealing with it, she handed me her church's business card saying, Jesus loves you. Oh my God. That was good. That was nice. She's trying to save your soul, you heathen. Anonymous says, I clipped Drexel proclaiming his love for Richard in the lore channel. You should download it and text it to him next time he comes at you with degeneracy. Oh, I will. Yes. Yes. I think he means love for Dick. The Pie Baker says, I doubt anyone knowing the history of that scar of mine would blame me for not being a fan of the church. But looking back on COVID and the regulations specific to church, I don't know what disgusts me more. The fact that these Nazi Gestapos have been running this shit since COVID, or the fact that outside myself and a few others I know of is giving the Roman, and outside of myself and a few, everyone I know of is giving the Roman salute to this BS. I may not be a fan of the church, but I'll be crucified before I let your right to religious freedom be tarnished.
Get out! Get out!
That guy is, Arthur is the man. I love this guy. I'm gonna invite him on the show.
Oh, if you can get him, that's a major score. He's great.
Nazi Gestapo! Get out! Heathen demons. Black Preacher Kermit says, let us pray the pimp's prayer. Lord, please pray for the soul of this bitch and guide my pimp hand and make it strong, Lord, so that she might learn a hoe's place. Amen.
Wow.
Okay. And finally, Donald Trump says, Nick, thank you for your correspondence in regards to Raytard Gordon. That man fails harder at chess than the economy under Sleepy Joe. My kids can beat him at 3.14D chess any day. I'll look for tutors elsewhere. Thanks to your words. Oh, I was supposed to read that as Trump. Nick, thank you for your correspondence in regards to Raytard Gordon. The man fails harder at chess than the economy under Sleepy Joe. And it fails pretty hard under Sleepy Joe. We've seen it. It's terrible. My kids can beat him at 3.14 dimensional chess any day. I invented that, by the way. It's really good. It was a network thing. I'll look for the tutors elsewhere. Thanks. Thank you for your words. Thank you. There you go.
That was very impressive. Your Trump impression has really taken off. I don't know. I don't remember it being that good last time.
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Yeah. There's a bunch more chats to go through. Chat has been very active at the beginning of the show today. So let me read a couple more of these and then we will start the video. Right. Niku Yasha says, speaking of Kamala, have you guys seen that missing person milk carton with her picture on it? It's hilarious. No. No, it sounds good though.
Oh, don't worry. Biden gives her more jobs to do because she's such a raving success on the border. Oh, God. That he gives her more tasks early on in his speech. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
Team America World Police says, Good Lawgic, gutting out tonight's show. Can't believe he's still conscious after his Biden drinking game tonight. Oh, no. Bad Vibe says, Nick, what do you think about doing an employment/contract analysis of YouTube/creators? I think an employment relationship can potentially be made. It'd be really difficult. YouTube doesn't control like what time that you stream, what you put on your streams. There are some arguments for it because of the restrictions that they have, but overall, I think that'd be a tough analysis. There's no schedule. Like if they started saying, well, you can only stream between 3 and 6 p.m. or something, that would be a little different. But I don't know. That'd be a tough one. Tina says about the sexual harassment. If you're accused, would it be a good idea to say I'm gay as a defense? Only if you follow it up with the mysterious deaths of all of your accusers, like Kevin Spacey did. That's the only way to do it.
Did that really happen to his accusers? They all died?
Not all of them. One of them's alive, Anthony Rapp from Rent, but everybody else is pretty much dead.
Really?
Like 3 or 4 accusers of Kevin Spacey just poof, vanished, like Kaiser Sose even. And then they're gone. It was amazing.
They're gone.
Jonathan Sweet, with more on the sexual harassment work issue, says she's a coworker who cut her leg open and still wore the work pants a few more times. Manufacturing. Heard y'all, but saying the leg was saying the leg was bloodstained and unsafe wouldn't help. Thanks for going over this. I mean, I would just say I did not try to reach into her pants. I didn't do it. If you say, look, I didn't try to reach into her pants are just bloodstained and unsafe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That changes it from I didn't try to reach into her pants to you're looking at her leg and evaluating blood and determining that maybe you shouldn't or should reach into her pants. It changes it. It changes the whole timbre of it. I would just say I didn't reach into her pants. I didn't try to reach into her pants. I wouldn't try to reach into her pants. I don't care about her pants.
Why are we talking about her pants? We're still talking about her pants.
Yeah, you seem obsessed with her pants. I don't even like this person. Juan says that officer who trolled LeBron James in response to the Ohio incident was classic. I didn't see this.
There was an officer, Dion Joseph, who invited him to have a whole conversation about difficulties of being a police officer, but that didn't seem like the officer was trolling him. So I'm not sure if they're talking about someone else or that. But there was a whole story, which I actually read up on my stream yesterday, about this officer Joseph who had a Facebook message that went viral, where he was inviting LeBron to have a healthy conversation. I actually speculated that LeBron is literally and figuratively the biggest useful idiot on the planet.
Yeah, he's close for sure. If he's not, he's like top 5.
I mean, just physically, he's probably the biggest one, and financially, there's no one bigger. He's not someone who's like most of the people who are wealthy on the left. They're evil. They're like genuinely evil. They have their ambitious agenda, which is what they're promoting. But then you have their followers, like the college kids or like LeBron James, who don't really understand the ramifications of what they're pitching, and they just spit back what the media or what their friends in the government tell them, and they think that this is a good thing. They think that racism is like the biggest problem facing the black community. In 2021, somehow it's the most awful thing in the world, and I call those the useful idiots. And he's like the wealthiest and biggest microphone and biggest guy. He's literally the biggest useful idiot on the planet. That's my speculation on it. So.
Well, the good news is he'll probably go broke once his career ends.
You think?
I was reading an article about how frequent that is amongst basketball players, both male and female. Because the highest paid ever female basketball player is now bankrupt.
Who is that? Charlotte Brooks?
Yeah, made $50 million and turned it into 0.
Right. Okay, it's hard to blow $1 billion. That's really hard to blow. That's
LeBron doesn't have $1 billion, does he?
I think he had $1 billion contract. That's what someone was telling me. That's what someone was telling me on my stream. I want to check out what his contract is. Someone on my stream told me he had $1 billion contract. I haven't watched the NBA in like 8 years because I can't stomach.
It sounds hard to blow $1 billion, but it isn't. It isn't. I mean, it's the same. MC Hammer, I know, not $1 billion, but it was what, $1985 or whatever. So it's like $2 billion in reality. No, that all these guys, they surround themselves with people who suck money out of them. They make poor investment decisions. They invest in companies. Oh, this company is going to keep you rich forever. It's like, oh yeah, that's great. Thanks for being my friend from high school who runs this company. Here's $27 million in seed money. the business failed. Well, where's my money? Sorry, we spent that on inventory. Why are you driving around a bunch of Ferraris all at once? Like, why are Ferraris pulling your carriage? It's like, because that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, they do it all the time. I don't know. He's worth over $1 billion, but he doesn't have $1 billion. Well, we'll see. Maybe anybody can go broke.
That's true.
Anybody can go broke.
That's true.
One good Ponzi scheme and your ass is toast. Kiwi goes live. Says the one good thing Democrats did for the U.S. was changing FCC rules, allowing an individual to own multiple TV stations in one market. This means we will never have to deal with a remake of Weird Al's UHF. Yes, because you don't want to remake that movie. It's perfection. Trump Willis is my name. Says Good Logic over Uncivil any day. Nick, heed this advice because Good Logic is not a closet commie. Oh my gosh, fighting words at Uncivil.
Uncivil's a closet commie? I had no.
Well, according to Trump Willis,
I've never spoken to Uncivil ever, which I don't know how that's even possible. Because
how'd you manage that?
We both run in the same circles. He doesn't follow me on Twitter, which I consider that to be a cardinal offense.
Oh, he doesn't really use his Twitter. I mean, it's literally just show announcements. I don't even know if he does them.
And he's like Biden. He's got like some typist on Twitter who puts in his stuff for him. He's got his. I
don't know. I don't talk to him on Twitter ever. I always talk to him via text or phone because like Twitter just isn't a good place to get a hold of him because he doesn't use it. So
wait, were we supposed to talk about the social club that I was discussing with you in DM today, or we were going to do that?
I mean, we can talk about it later. We should do I want to get to the video.
Way behind. Yeah, way behind.
Yeah. John Stern says, so according to the government, human life begins after birth, but a gun begins at conception with CAD files. Come on, man. It's just a clump of parts. Exactly. Random Blaze says, hypothetically speaking, Nick, if it is found that a few of the states had switched tallies and actually swung the other way, what would be the legal recourse for Republicans? Nothing. Impeachment. That'd be it. You're not going to, no court is going to come in and unseat the sitting president. They weren't going to do it after the election. They're definitely not going to do it after inauguration. I know there's a writ of something that ostensibly says that an elected official can be removed by the courts. I can't remember what it's called. That has never, ever been even attempted on a president. And even if it were, I don't think you would find any success there. So it's really not going to happen.
The only ramification would be bad PR for the Democrats. That's basically it. That's a stolen presidency, but nothing else, nothing beyond that.
Yeah. And so the remedy for that would be to get the states to pass laws to actually fix the problems that they find. That would be it. They're not going to get a judicial remedy over the election results. It's not going to happen. Quo warranto. Yeah. Quo warranto. It's not, you will not see the removal of a president via quo warranto. The moment you do, we are in literal civil war. It's not happening. Batgoat says, what the deuce? Did Trump just turn into Woody Allen? Yes. John McCain's glioblastoma says in black preacher voice, praise be upon ye who recognize thine divinity. Salvation is guaranteed for all those that accept my malignant touch. Cast out the usurper neocons and rhinos that would lead you astray. So there you go. That's that. Okay, let's get into this video.
Indeed.
Here we go. Can you hear it okay?
I understand it's good to be almost home. Down the hall. Anyway, thank you.
He opens with a joke that literally no one laughs at.
I didn't even get it. I didn't even know it was a joke. I didn't know what the heck he was saying.
I only know it's a joke due to his intonation. I have no idea what the joke is, but I know that nobody in that room understood it. This is a 5-second replay. We've got to hit that again.
But what's coming up right afterwards is even funnier, but go.
Here we
Do your
go.
thing.
Just
Mitch and Chuck will understand it's good to be almost home. Down the hall. Anyway, thank you all. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President. No president has ever said those words from this podium. No president has ever said those words. And it's about time.
yay.
Yeah.
Good job having vaginas. You did it.
Let me tell you, it was so exciting to be a part of history. The first time ever that the president was surrounded by two women in the backdrop behind him, and I felt like I was part
Bill
of this
Clinton's
historic
like,
moment.
oh, wait a minute. I beg to differ. Me and Kennedy have done that way too many times.
That was the story I was reading today. Like, why you should watch tonight? Because you'll be a part of history and watching this moment. And I felt so historic. It was great.
I wish I was history after watching that moment. Jason Alator says, sipping on Akashi whiskey while playing Outriders can't get any better than this. Why was that in Kermit voice? Okay, here we go.
First Lady, I'm her husband. Gentlemen,
Wait. Oh, I almost didn't get it. I didn't catch it for just a
I
second.
fell over laughing. The second time, just as hard as the first. First
Oh,
lady, I'm her husband. Oh my God.
The cook in chief, First Lady and her husband.
No, I think he's saying I'm her husband. Like he's explaining to the audience how she became first. I don't even know, like why.
No, I think he says and her husband. Let's check it out. Hold on, we got the tape. We'll re-roll the tape.
First Lady, I'm her husband.
I think he says and.
I hear I'm. I definitely hear I'm her husband. Like he's explaining to the audience that he's married to Jill Biden, the first lady.
Okay, we'll see.
This is like Laurel. This is like Laurel and Yanni.
Yay! I love that yay from Pelosi as she's calling out to the spirits of aborted babies.
It's the same yay you would give like a 4-year-old when they finish coloring by like screaming like that. Yay!
Good job, Jill. You have a vagina too, just like me and Kamala la la la. Here we go.
Second gentleman, Chief Justice, members of the United States Congress and the Cabinet, distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. While the setting tonight is familiar, this gathering is just a little bit different. A reminder of the extraordinary times we're in. Throughout our history, presidents have come to this chamber to speak to Congress, to the nation, and to the world, to declare war, to celebrate peace, to announce new plans and possibilities. Tonight, I come to talk about crisis and opportunity.
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
That's Saul Alinsky, right?
He just said it flat out right there. I'm here to talk about crisis and opportunity.
Wow.
Jason Alator says, this is too much. I cannot stop laughing at this fool called Biden. Here we go.
About rebuilding the nation, revitalizing our democracy, and winning the future for America. I stand here tonight, one day shy of the 100th day of my administration. 100 days since I took the oath of office and lifted my hand off our family Bible and inherited a nation, we all did, that was in crisis.
How do we
pandemic in a century.
Inherit anything?
Worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. The worst attack.
Wait a minute. I thought the last economic crisis was the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Is this one worse than the 2008? Because I'm not so sure that this is worse than 2008.
I guess what he's saying is, look, I was elected. That would not happen unless the Earth was on the brink of disaster. So we know that this must be like basically Great Depression Part 3 or whatever. By the way, I'm gonna ruin like the next hour for you by
Oh,
just
don't spoil it. Oh my
no, I'm not
God.
going to tell you anything. Just if you ever notice Kamala bobbing her head ever so slightly for like the entire hour, you start getting like a little nauseous, just like
Look,
you're swaying. Yeah. Now that
I'm
I
just gonna
pointed out,
say there are several men in various positions of power that have noticed Kamala bobbing her head, but that's a different story for a different time.
zing.
I don't know. Why would you bring that up, Joe? Oh my
By the
God.
way, every time he makes a social gaffe, just like call out zing or something like that. That was part of my. It's fun. It's fun. You'll have a lot of fun with it.
I'm gonna pour some liquor in a minute.
Oh,
Mr. Oh,
That's a good one.
what?
Take a shot every time he makes a speaking gaffe.
I don't actually have that much whiskey to do that. All my whiskey is really expensive right now. I haven't been to the liquor store to get like a good bottle that doesn't make me broke.
You have to bring Robert Gruler on your show because then he'll send you a bottle of scotch the way he did Viva Barnes. So like,
Wait a minute. That's so if I invite Gruler, I'll get scotch from him.
I think so. That was
What kind of scotch did he
he
send
has.
them?
He's smart. He's not just an attorney. He's smart because he's got his whole R&R group scotch gift package that he gives out. So it's all tax deductible, and basically he was showing like Viva was showing the gift package he got from Gruler. So
Who is this guy buying his way onto shows? Oh my
he
goodness.
knows what he's doing. He happens to be a great attorney, and I love his channel. So
Yeah, I like what I've seen of him. I haven't watched a ton because I don't have too much time to watch anything, but no, I want to talk to him, not just because of the scotch. I hope he doesn't send me one, or he sends me a more expensive one than he sent Viva.
right,
That's the trick.
Oh, so you knew about that.
No, you just said it.
Oh, I thought you were saying like what he got wasn't grade A for you. I thought you knew what he got.
No, I have no idea what he got. I just want to get something that's at least $1 more.
Oh, I see. I think it was Black Label that he got.
I'm petty like this.
Oh, I
petty.
I understand. I understand. And I think you're worth it. So I think you're worth exactly $1 more.
Aw, thanks. So. Linda Marie says, Nick was right, they say. I just want to talk. You say, no thanks. Head on today's news. A LMPD officer says, yeah, I would rather not. Thank you, to a reporter. And Lamau. One day the FBI will hear Nick's Trump impression, put him on the no-fly Gestapo Rudy raid list. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, just yep. No, thank you. I don't want to talk to you. Get out, Gestapo. Okay, here we go.
Back on our democracy since the Civil War. Now, after just 100 days, I can report to the nation, America is on the move again.
Oh,
by the way, he just called January 6th the worst attack on our nation since the Civil War. Apparently, he forgot about Pearl Harbor.
And 9/11.
And 9/11. Yeah, January 6th was way worse than 9/11. It was way worse than, I guess you can't bring up Pearl Harbor because there's a whole anti-Asian hate bill. So you're not ever allowed to mention that ever again. But yeah, the worst attack was January 6th, obviously.
They were just hugging the battleship so hard that they sank. It's what it was. Oh, God, Bernie.
Peril into possibility, crisis, opportunity, setbacks into strength. We all know life can knock us down, but in America.
But if life knocked me down, I'd hit my life alert because I can't get back up.
Help.
We never, ever, ever stay down. Americans always get up. Today, that's what we're doing. America's rising anew, choosing hope over fear, truth over lies, and light over darkness. After 100 days of rescue and renewal, America is ready for a takeoff, in my view. We're working again, dreaming again, discovering again, and leading the world again. We have shown each other and the world that there's no quit in America. None. 100 days ago, America's house was on fire. We had to act. And thanks to the extraordinary leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Majority Leader Schumer, and the overwhelming support of the American people, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, we did act. Together we passed the...
I like how Pelosi right now is just looking for souls leaving bodies. Like that's Kamala's like trying to be engaged. She's like nodding, looking over at Pelosi, and Pelosi's just.
By the way, I can stop you every time. Every other time you stop, I'll ask you what the hell is he talking about, and you will have no idea what he's like. I don't right now. I don't know what he's talking about. If you can explain to me.
100 days ago, America's house is on fire. But then the good men and women of the fire department came and put it out, and rescued the dog from the tree. And that tree was planted in 1906. I say aught because that's what my grandpappy used to say in the 1800s.
I really don't even know if he's talking about like January 20th, January 6th. When he's talking 100 days ago, that was January 20th. So is he saying that while Trump was here, the house was on fire? It's so bizarre. Like so much of what he says, I was just like, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know.
He doesn't either. He doesn't either. But let's keep going. We'll see.
Yeah.
American Rescue Plan, one of the most consequential rescue packages in American history. We're already seeing the results.
God, look at these. Is that Dick Durbin?
Is that Schumer?
Is that Chuck Schumer? I can't even tell which one is which anymore.
I know. I think that's on purpose.
They're melding into one Quasimodo. It's gross. I can't turn Joe's mic up. I don't think. Can I do that in
My mic
Streamlabs?
is too low.
Edit mic settings. I will. Let me kick you up a little bit. Give me some words.
Give you some words. Give you some words. Is that
hopefully that's better. I made it louder. But
I can try to make my audio. I have echo cancellation. Should I turn that off?
No, I turned you up here, so it should be louder now.
Hold on a second. I got this. Is that better? I just raised my mic volume.
I mean, you should be good.
All right, whatever.
We'll go.
We're already seeing the results.
Mitch isn't even clapping. Oh my
After
God!
I promised we'd get 100 million COVID-19 vaccine shots into people's arms in 100 days. We will have provided over 220 million COVID shots in those 100 days. Thanks to all the help of all of you.
Thanks to the vaccine that Trump developed.
What was that?
Thanks to the vaccine that Trump developed.
Whoa, how dare you? How dare you? Don't bring that up. No. Trust the science. Listen to Fauci. Wear 2 masks like this dumbass in the picture.
I didn't even notice 2 mask guy.
Well, you can't, to be fair, you can't see it over whatever cancerous growth is coming out of his left eye. That's overshadowing his second mask.
Wow.
He's had that under mask on so long that the cancer growth is coming and growing over it. And so he had to put the second one over the top.
And you know that they were all vaccinated also. You know, everyone in that room is vaccinated. They got vaccinated. They probably each were like, no, Johnson, that's not enough. I need Pfizer too. Give me Moderna too. They all had like 6 shots already. And he's still wearing double masks. Wow.
Yep. They're like, just please don't give us AstraZeneca. Send that to India. Oh my God. All right, here we go.
With your help, everyone's help, we're marshaling every federal resource. We've gotten vaccines to nearly 40,000 pharmacies and over 700 community health centers where the poorest of the poor can be reached. We're setting up community vaccination sites, developing mobile units to get to hard-to-reach communities. Today, 90% of Americans now live within 5 miles of a vaccination site. Everyone over the age of 16, everyone
16
is now eligible to get vaccinated right now, right away. Go get vaccinated, America.
How many teeth does Joe Biden have? Because it's a lot. It's more than a normal amount.
He has politician face because he's had it for so long, and they have extra teeth that just grow in after you've been in Congress for like 12 years. There are additional teeth. Scientists have proven this. There are additional molars that come in and crowd the back ones forward, so it looks like you have more teeth. So
yeah, right now what he's doing is he's listening to a sweet riff in a smooth jazz album.
He also has a very wide mouth. Like you don't.
Yeah,
know
he does.
When he talks, you see how wide his mouth is across his face. Where it's almost like he's like, you remember like in South Park, the cartoons had the bottom of their head would clap up and down. Like,
yeah, the Canadians.
Yeah. So that's what his jaw is. His jaw is drawn like South Park Canadians. So
that was how all the Canadians were in South Park. Yeah. Kiwi. Oh, wait. Niku Yasha says, I used to follow the science, but then I got a restraining order. The science was her Instagram name. Kiwi Goes Live says, if you listen carefully, you can hear the incantation that Nancy and Kamala are reciting to keep Joe Biden alive. I'm just waiting for the Adderall to wear off. That's why I love Joe Biden's speeches, because about 40 minutes in is when the drugs start to really fade. And then he gets weird. He gets funky. He starts saying stuff off the cuff. Super Iron Bob says, what drugs dilate the eyes like Joe's so they can look black and soulless like that? It's got to be pretty killer to make him semi-coherent like this.
Go and get the vaccination. They're available. You're eligible now.
Cruz, stop clapping.
yeah, okay.
When I was sworn in on January 20th, less than 1% of the seniors in America were fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
The vaccine had literally just been developed. It just come out because of your predecessor. You just admitted that a vaccine existed prior to your inauguration. You had nothing to do with bringing it about. You said it couldn't be done. It wouldn't be done. I'm so sick of this guy taking credit for the vaccine. He didn't do anything for it.
And if this was not an election year, I'm positive the vaccine would have come out a month earlier. But they didn't want the vaccine to come out right before.
No, they said that.
Yeah.
One of the vaccine companies came out and said, no, we were delaying it so that it would not come out prior to the election. Which
only shows, like, by the way, think of how heartless that is. How many people died because they delayed it because the election was coming up? I mean, how ridiculous is the left that they were like, no, put that on the back shelf. We got to wait until like mid-November before you can start bringing that stuff out. It's really crazy. It's just evil.
So Joskp sent in a big super chat. Thank you. And this is a quote from someone on his Facebook page. We'll explain in a minute. He says, this guy would not know what to do if the Gestapo actually came to attack. Such a joke and a mockery of what Jewish people experience. Disgusting. This is what a libtard said on my Facebook when I shared that church video. My country is such a loss. Yeah, Arthur knows how to deal with the Gestapo. I think he's showing what should have happened in Germany. Yeah. And that was the thing. The Germans were so effective at preventing the community from standing up and saying no, because they would threaten the entire block. They wouldn't just threaten the one family. They would threaten the other families who looked outside and watched. That was the point of it. You cannot. Tyranny comes at the consent of the governed, because when there's a hostile takeover, there's revolution that follows. When there's a gift, when you give tyranny to the government, that's when they're at their maximum power. That's the scary tyranny that's out there.
That's why they're being so harsh on the people who went into the Capitol also, by the way, because they they want to clamp down on them and send a message to anyone who ever thinks of going Arthur on like, you know, and basically say, look at what's going to happen. We will punish you as hard as we possibly can. That's why they send the FBI after Giuliani. They don't even care if they'd like to get Giuliani. If they don't, they're still trying to send a message. The message is out there that if you stick your neck out, we will do everything we can to chop your head off.
Yep. They've been doing it to everybody from Trump's legal team, and it'll continue. Yeah. Let's go.
100 days later, 70% of seniors in America over 65 are protected, fully protected. Senior deaths from COVID-19 are down 80% since January. down 80% because of
That's because you killed all the old ones.
Cuomo did.
more than half of all the adults in America have gotten at least one shot. A mass vaccination center in Glendale, Arizona. I asked the nurse,
I hate this technique. I'm sorry. I don't mean to stop. I hate this technique. It's taught in How to Be a Political Jackass 101. The story doesn't matter. It may have never happened. It doesn't matter. You say, look, I was doing a show. Here, I'll do it. I'll do it right now. Guys, last year was a tough year on conventions, but back in 2019, I was doing a show. I was at this small show. It was out a little bit outside of Detroit in Michigan. I don't remember the suburb name, so we'll just call it Detroit. I was in Detroit and I was there, and a staffer came up to me and he said, your channel, just so you know, your channel helped me through a really tough time where my mother was in the hospital, and the content that you made was really what helped me get through it. The long nights waiting next to her bedside, through all the cancer treatments and stuff like that. And of course you pick a location and you pick a person relevant to that location, and then you say whatever bullshit you want.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It's
And
how to be a politician.
it's always nice when you can be detailed about it. Like you just make it's like the perfect person. It's some old woman who's coming over and thanking him for like the vaccine and talking about how she's been living in fear. And I remember when she clasped my hand between her two hands and looked in my eyes, and I knew that we were doing the right thing. And yeah,
I hate it.
The whole violin in the background is going on. You can just serenading them while they're having that touching, moving moment. As if anyone has conversations like this with the president of the United States. That's what he's doing. He has conversations like that with people. As opposed to like Secret Service being like, get the heck back. Like if any of us came within like 20 feet of him, we'd be like shoved back on your butt so fast.
Yeah, the problem was Joe is actually at an old folks home, thought he was home, went to go get his afternoon cookie and listen to the kid come play piano, and one of the orderlies came up and was like, Mr. President, you don't belong here. He's like, I want my soup.
I said, what's it like? She looked at me and she said, it's like every shot is giving a dose of hope.
That's what she said. She said exactly what my speech.
An educator in Florida, a child suffering from an autoimmune disease.
You were in Arizona. She didn't say anything about Florida.
It's like she said exactly what my speechwriter was hoping she would say. It's like a dose of hope, something that we couldn't even think of saying that was so brilliant and so inspirational. That's what she said.
I was at a vaccination site in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the nurse said it's like a dose of hope. Every dose of hope for a teacher and an educator in Florida. Wait, why the hell's a nurse in Scottsdale talking about teachers in Florida?
Wrote to me, said she's worried. She was worried about bringing the virus home. She said she then got vaccinated at a large site in her car. She said she sat in her car when she got vaccinated and just cried out of joy.
Stop crying.
Cried out of relief. Parents, seeing the smiles on their kids' faces for those who are able to go back to school because the teachers and school bus drivers and cafeteria workers have been vaccinated. Grandparents, hugging their children and grandchildren instead of pressing hands against the window.
If you were doing that, you were insane.
Say goodbye. It means everything.
Means everything.
There's still, you all know it. You know it better than any group of Americans. There's still more work to do to beat this virus.
Really?
Don't let our guard down.
What do we have to do?
Any group, the 40 drones in Congress there know more than any group in America that there's more work to do.
I just want to ask you, tell me two things that need to be done to beat the virus still. What's left to beat the virus? Because I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what we would do to, assuming he's saying everyone has access to vaccines. So what else are we going to do to beat the virus?
Well, you know the actual answer to that is you have to convince the stragglers to get the vaccine. That's what you have to do.
Okay.
That's the propaganda work is what's left.
That's basically, is there anything else besides that? Is there anything else besides that?
No, even with the disruption in supply from Johnson and Johnson, they have more than enough doses for every American. They've said it over and over and over again.
My daughter
So
my daughter's a PA, and it's in a place that gives out vaccine shots. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what she does, and she said that they have doses. They calling people, begging them to come in because they have extra doses. Because when they pull them out of the freezer, they only have a certain number of hours they can use them. So,
Right.
she's like, we constantly, every day, we have extra doses that we literally throw in the garbage because we got nothing else we can do with them. So
wait, did we? Oh, we haven't hit it. Someone said 1K likes, better drink. We haven't hit 1,000 likes yet. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there.
No, it's okay.
brain.
You do your thing, your whole 1K thing, like you've never had 1,000 likes before. Oh, I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
I hope you get 1,000 likes. Oh, I hope so.
My daughter's working at a vaccination clinic and everybody clapped. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. My 5-year-old daughter came in today talking about the inherent stress caused by racial disparity and economic instability in the inner cities.
Oh, okay, you sort of cut me off with your little 1,000 likes before I got into the whole joke about the AIDS needle. It's like instead of the AIDS needles you'll find on a beach now, they're vaccines. But you sort of trampled all over that with your little like, oh, let's have a news flash here. I wonder if he's going to get to 1,000 likes tonight.
Someone mentioned it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And for the record, we did hit 1,000 likes.
Well, now we did. Yeah. No thanks to you. You're welcome. Is this a record for you?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, shut up. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, one of my fans, one of my people there said, I was like, really? One of the super chats I got tonight on my fake super chats that I have, because YouTube is a bunch of Nazis who won't let me get monetized.
Nazi Gestapo.
Yeah. So one of them is a guy named Fair Frozen, who asked me to tell you that he's a huge fan of yours and has never ever been able to. I don't even know if it's a guy or a girl. He's never been able to get your attention, and begged me to tell you this. I'll be like, oh, I'll see if I can get Lord and Master Nick Ricchetta's attention so that I can share this information that this guy Fair Frozen, it's not even his real name, that he's a fan of yours, and so yes, that you should, if you notice, try to look for Fair Frozen. I guess he's not a big super chat guy, which I can understand that because.
But he super chatted you.
No, people super chat me. They write in all caps super chat because what the heck am I supposed to do? What the? Oh, mock my pain. You mock my pain.
Well, I will keep my eyes. I will keep my eyes peeled.
I think it's Fair Frozen 5 or something, but whatever. So I promised I would say that if I remembered, if I wasn't too drunk to forget it. So this felt like the right moment for it. Are we going to finish the speech? Or
no, we're not going to, but we're going to try.
Let's go.
But tonight, I can say, because of you,
the
American people, our progress these past 100 days against one of the worst pandemics in history has been one of the greatest logistical achievements this country's ever seen.
And someone else did it.
What else
Yeah.
have we done in those first 100 days?
He's a dwarf standing on a giant's shoulders.
Democrats and Republicans of sending $1,400 rescue checks to 85% of American households. We've already sent more than 160 million checks.
Liar lady.
It's making a difference. You all know it when you go home.
Huh. Wait, what was that? What was Pelosi doing there?
Oh, I missed it.
Let's roll back the tape. Okay,
sorry.
Mr. Producer, roll back the tape. Clip 238. Go.
It's making
Lindsey Graham.
You all know.
What is she doing? Is he like
she's either pressing him to update his programming or she's putting a kick me sign on him. I don't know why she's
like winding like just like turning the little winding thing in the back so he can just keep puppet mastering like his and
why is she touching him? Weird. Super Iron Bob says, "Where's my $2,000, Joe?" So here we go. Biden, not you. I think they're talking about stimulus money.
That's the worst thing about having an awful president who shares your first name. You're just like, oh, I don't even know if they're ranking on me or this old doddering moron.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right,
well.
here we go. Lord Shulk says, does Delosi have milkers? She has implants, I believe. I think that much is pretty obvious. She's moving the mic attached to his shoulder.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I mean,
Here.
yeah, whatever.
Well, let's just move on.
When you go home. For many people, it's making all the difference in the world. The single mom in Texas who wrote me.
Oh, fuck you.
She couldn't work. But she said the relief check put food on the table and saved her and her son from eviction from their apartment.
Right.
Grandmother,
How'd that work out? How did that work out? How'd that possibly? It's like he's reading letters from people. People are writing him letters. Dear President Biden, your check that you sent me with your signature on it saved me from eviction. That's what he's reading.
The single mom in Texas. Then he moves on. The grandmother in Virginia. Stop. It's such a lie. I hate it. You could just say whatever you want. The homeless auto worker in Michigan, longing for the glory days of Ford and Chevy to come back. Trump Willis is my name, says, Nick, do your part and add to the dislikes of this video. I mean, come on. This is a CNN channel and it's a negative ratio. So make it more negative, please. Do it for the real outcome of November 8th. There you go. I added my dislike. Super Iron Bob says, oh, wait, where's my $2,000? Yeah, I read that one. Okay, there we go.
Told me she immediately took her granddaughter to the eye doctor. Something she said she put off for months because she didn't have the money. One of the defining images, at least from my perspective.
Obamacare has mandatory eye care insurance.
And what kid doesn't have mandatory? You can have Child Health Plus. You can have every state has their own. For people who don't have money, they have there's free child care. Every kid under 18 has free health care. Definitely covers eye care. That story is a lie. It has to be a lie.
Guys, here's my 1K drink. Sorry, I forgot that you can't see me pour it. So
I'll join you there for a second.
I'm not going to drink this $300 a bottle of whiskey in one swig, though. So you'll have to deal with that.
Salud.
And cheers, buddy.
In this crisis has been cars lined up for miles.
Supporting Trump.
And not people just barely able to start those cars, nice cars. Lined up for miles, waiting for a box of food to be put in their trunk. I don't know about you, but I didn't ever think I'd see that in America.
I thought I'd see it the second you got elected. I did see this the other day. Even in my town, there's like a free grocery Wednesday or whatever at this place. And I'm driving up. It's by the music store in our town. I was driving to the music store to get my my grandfather from Texas. Gave me. I have his violin when he passed away. I was getting his violin restored, and so I'm there, and I'm leaving the music store, and there's just this huge line of like Lexus and Infiniti and Toyotas and stuff, and I'm like, all these cars are from like 2010 or later, and they're all lined up at this free grocery day, and I'm like, okay, look, I don't believe that these people need these groceries. I think a lot of people just get free groceries when they're there.
Over here, we have per child you have in your family will determine how much food you get. Per child under 18 living in your house. So you basically, and you don't have to prove how many kids you have. You can just lie and say, I got 7 kids, and they'll be like, okay, fine. But they basically, they give you free food over here based on how many kids you have. Boxes. And, and the lineup is pretty long. It's a long lineup of cars because, they're literally just giving out $100 worth of groceries. So why wouldn't you pick it up?
Burnt nougat, they're not old Infinity. It was a new Infinity. Mr. Bentham says, the futa with no balls from Minnesota, Joe Biden. Yeah, the futa with no balls from Minnesota. asking me when the transition can be complete.
He's still waiting. He's still waiting for it to be completed. That's why he's the Fudo with no. Yeah,
I got another $1,400 relief check coming. That's at least one ball. We got to work harder, America, to get that second ball for the Fudas out there. Oh,
And all of this is through no fault of their own.
well, it's your fault.
You did it.
No fault of their own. These people are in this position. That's why.
I mean, I don't mean to be the unpopular opinion in the room, but it is. I mean, there is some fault there. Like we all make life choices that end up with a specific spot, and people did make a life choice to end up in a job that they didn't think would be unceremoniously ended, but it was. Now, the ending of their job may not. I mean, people are not completely inoculated from all decisions. But that I'm just being an asshole. Andrew wore snowboard.
Really are. It's like people are like people who basically spent like their entire lives trying to work towards a profession, and all of a sudden there's lockdowns and their business gets shut down. And they have nowhere to go, and you're basically like, you're an idiot for deciding you want to be a stenographer, moron.
Yeah.
So if your kids starve to death, that's on you, you loser. Those are your life choices. You're the one who decided to have a kid.
If you can't get on YouTube and make at least like $10 to buy lunch, then that's your fault. Maybe you should try doing a video.
Yeah, I've
something.
I've been doing it for 6 months. I'm still waiting to sniff my first check. I only hear that one.
Andrew or Snowboard says, I leave this AM for the airport to go to Cleveland for the NFL draft. Why would you go to Cleveland? I'm not sleeping before the flight. Thanks for the entertainment. I can't wait to get Youngling and Michael Simon food while not in Minnesota. Ooh, a Michael Simon food would be good. Here we go.
The rescue plan is delivering food and nutrition assistance to millions of Americans facing hunger. And hunger is down sharply already. We're also providing rental assistance. You all know this, but the American people, I want to make sure they understand. Keeping people from being evicted from their homes, providing loans to small businesses that reopen and keep their employees on the job. During these 100 days,
I got my PPP loan. What? Finally. I didn't get it the first round.
an additional 800,000 Americans enrolled in the Affordable Care Act when I established a special sign-up period to do that. 800,000 in that period. We're making one of the largest one-time ever investments, ever, in improving healthcare for veterans. Critical investments to address the opioid crisis.
Wait a second. You got a PPP loan?
Yeah.
Do you have to be incorporated to get a PPP loan or not?
Nope. Sole proprietors and independent contractors.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to jump all over that.
Yeah. But let's hold on. What did he just say?
Ever investments, ever.
Oh, yeah, in the VA.
Healthcare for veterans.
Yeah, that's been a long
Critical
time
investments
coming.
to address the opioid crisis. And maybe most importantly, thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we're on track to cut child poverty in America in half.
What kids aren't poor?
Give them bigger allowances.
Was it Chris Rock who was? It's like the kid came up to him and said, "Dad, are we rich?" And he said, "No, I'm rich. You're broke. I'm rich."
I don't understand what that means when they talk about cut child poverty in half. You know that if we had cut child poverty in half last year and we had cut child poverty in half again last month, he still can have a new goal of cutting child poverty in half. Whatever the level of child poverty is, you can always have a new goal of cutting it in half, right? I mean, that might be a different number.
Pelosi's perking up right now at the idea of cutting impoverished children in half. So I remember that Bible story when they cut everything in half and then walked between them. Yeah. I'm gonna do that with a homeless shelter for orphans.
I think you give her too much hate. She's a good person. She cares about the people.
Yeah, sure. That's right. You run with that logic.
She cares about. Please agree with me.
And in the process, while this was all going on, the economy created more than 1,300,000 new jobs in 100 days.
Yeah, you didn't create that.
First,
You just opened up businesses that were always there. You didn't create.
Yeah, when you destroy millions of jobs and then you tell them they can open again, it's amazing how many jobs show up.
and like there's some people on the left who really buy it. Like most of the useful idiots, they're all like, "Wow, can you believe that? Did Trump ever bring back that many jobs so fast?" It's like so sad. It's so sad how they lap this. Whatever the government says, like.
Well, not only that, you know what else is pissing me off? The clapping sound, I think, is amplified. I think there's more claps added.
You think this is like a river dance kind of like tapping thing where they like put it in the like and they basically had the pre-recorded clap thing, like it's canned clapping.
Dude, there's what? There's less than 100 people in that room and half of them aren't clapping, but it sounds pretty loud. I don't know.
That's a very good call, which I have to admit I didn't think of, and you're almost definitely right. You're almost definitely right.
Frederick Little says, "Hey guys, take a shot every time Joe lies or goes on a tangent during his speech." We'd already be dead.
Yeah, we would be dead.
Here we go. Listen to that sound.
More jobs in the first 100 days than any president on record. The International Monetary Fund.
He's clapping. He's like, "You beat Trump. You beat Trump with his jobs."
International Monetary.
Who is that?
I don't know. She looked like somebody in a hospital bed.
Yeah, and she was up in the cheap seats, so I don't even know what was going on there.
Will grow at a rate of more than 6% this year. That will be the fastest pace of economic growth in this country in nearly 4 decades. America's moving.
It's moving.
Moving forward.
Moving forward.
We can't stop now.
It's moving back to where it was.
Competition with China and other countries.
China.
To win the 21st century. We're at a great inflection point in history. We have to do more than just build back better. We have to build back better.
Boom, drink.
He fucked that one up. We gotta do more than build back better. Build back. We gotta build back better.
There you go.
We gotta do more than my plan. All right, here we go.
We have to compete more strenuously than we have. Throughout our history, if you think about it.
Remember our history when I locked up all the blacks?
Public investment in infrastructure has
public investment in locking up the blacks like I did. Kamala help
America. Our attitudes as well as our opportunities. The Transcontinental Railroad, the interstate highways, united 2 oceans and brought a totally new age of progress to the United States of America.
They put a bunch of soldiers to work.
Yeah, so this is like the Mr. War Zones. Yeah.
Universal public schools and college aid open wide the doors of opportunity. Scientific break.
Universal public schools? Are the public schools not universal? Who do the public schools not let in?
This is where he starts doing his word salad. And I think what they realize about him is if we let him just ramble classic politician word salad, he can keep going and going, even like long after the pens has given out, his brain is still able to just regurgitate that crap.
He's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, it's like second nature. He doesn't have to think about it.
An adopt a highway in Utah wrote me a letter. Jason McConnell says, the house janitor is on the balcony wondering how you get the smell of Bengay, curry, and adrenochrome out of his dais. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Breakthroughs took us to the moon. Now we're on Mars. Discovering vaccines gave us the internet.
We're discovering vaccines on Mars. This guy's everywhere.
Whoa,
it's like,
hold on.
How fast we're going. It's like we got superconductors building vaccines on Mars. because it's just about having growth at the right time and just keep going. It's not a time to step back. Come
Now
on.
we're on Mars discovering vaccines with the internet. What the fuck just happened on Mars that we haven't been told about? I gotta rehear that. That was we went from 0 to 10,000.
And college aid opened wide the doors of opportunity. Scientific breakthroughs took us to the moon. Now we're on Mars discovering vaccines, gave us the internet. And so much.
We're on Mars discovering vaccines, and that gave us the internet, apparently. Oh my God. That order of operations is not accurate, I don't think, but I'll take his word for it. He's the president. He knows.
Much more. These are investments we made together as one country, and investments that only the government was in a position to make.
Literally untrue. It's literally untrue. God, I hate this argument so much.
You know, I got to tell you, back in November when you told me you were going to vote for him, I thought you were crazy. Are you regretting it yet that you voted for Biden, Nick? I mean,
did
or did I just
not.
expose you?
I
didn't mean to expose. Oh, I didn't. I should have said that out loud.
I did not vote for Joe Biden.
Oh my God!
Because I knew he wouldn't remember to thank me for it. So. Oh, Jesus Christ! Here we go.
He's totally losing it. Oh.
Time and again.
Time and again.
They propel us into the future.
Who propels us?
That's why I proposed the American Jobs Plan, a once-in-a-generation investment in America itself. This is the largest jobs plan since World War II.
Do you know how bad the New Deal was, by the way? Do you know how completely awful? They're trying to tailor it after the New Deal, and people don't realize how bad, how it slowed down our growth so much. Economists basically speculate that if not for the New Deal, that our economy would have rejuvenated like roughly 8 years earlier than it did. And that's what they're trying to mirror here, the New Deal. That's what their role model is. Like, let's do what we did with the New Deal.
Yep. I just heard you breathe in, so I wanted to pause it. I don't have anything to say. I'm just annoyed.
Creates jobs to upgrade our transportation infrastructure. Jobs.
Transportation.
Our roads, bridges, highways. Jobs building ports and airports, rail carders, transit lines.
Rail carders.
It's clean water.
What's a rail carder?
I don't know.
Is that what drags people around the streets of San Francisco? Is that a rail carder?
Maybe it's the first 10 minutes after she like pushes the button on him. He gets overcharged. He's like,
we have to look. We have to look and see if she presses it again in a little bit.
Water. And today, up to 10 million homes in America and more than 400,000 schools and child care centers have pipes with lead in them, including drinking water.
How does that happen while you've been in office all that time for the last 50 years?
Yeah. Good fucking question. How do you have lead pipes still? Where is a lead pipe? Where is one? 400 how many 400,000?
10 million? I don't even know what the heck.
10
He was
million?
throwing numbers out there. Yeah. 10 million people, 400,000. I don't even know. 400,000 homes. He throws numbers out. He doesn't know what numbers are coming out of his mouth anyways.
Yeah, this seems like an easy fix to me, right? You go, okay. How many homes need new pipes? And we're just going to do it. Like, you got lead in your pipes? We're going to go ahead and fix that for you. Like, it seems like any president in history could have done that. Joe could do that now. That should be popular legislation. Look, we know people don't have the money to repipe their house. So we're going to go ahead. We'll set aside $1 billion, and that will cover literally any amount of homes that need to be repiped.
They would attach 90 billion to that.
I know, but that's my point, is that it wouldn't cost anywhere near what they spend on anything else.
Right.
It's like, and that's something that people can be like, you know what? Yeah, because lead pipes are bullshit. Like, come on, let's get those updated. Except it's fucking fake.
Jobs plan creates jobs replacing 100% of the nation's lead pipes and service lines, so every American can drink clean water.
He should have stopped at drink.
And the process will create thousands and thousands of good paying jobs.
Only to replace lead pipes, though. Once the lead pipes are replaced and the government money's gone, what jobs are going to be left? How's it going to create jobs? Like,
Yeah, it's not like a long-term thing. It's basically here's a project for like 6 months, and now that it's over, now what? Or even like a year and a half. Like now what? And the other thing is, what if you're not a plumber? Like now, it's
no,
like,
it's going to make plumbers. And then I'm for this. I'm for this, actually. It
Are
is so
you?
fucking hard to get a plumber to your house within any reasonable amount of time.
yeah.
I
So
want an oversaturation of plumbers competing for business. Like, I'll take $10 an hour, please. Just please let me plumb your plumbing.
that is not what happens. How would that happen? You think all of a sudden because they want this, now more people are instantly plumbers? That's not the way life works.
It is in fantasy land where Congress lives.
You would have the wait time you have on a plumber now is a week and a half. That would become 4 months if they put this into effect. You're not going to have more plumbers because of this.
No, they created more plumbers. There was a bill passed.
Is that what happened? They allotted 300 billion towards having more plumbers,
including 35% of the rural America that still doesn't have it. It's going to help our kids and our businesses succeed in the 21st century.
Just so you know, like Starlink exists and is probably a better plan than whatever the government is doing for the rural area, internet area. Private companies are working on the internet issue, and they're doing it in ways that if you would get out of the fucking way, let Elon Musk take that over. He'll do it. He's trying.
And I'm asking the vice president to lead this effort, if she would.
Yeah, you got nothing else to do.
Get done.
Oh, good. Kamala's going to be in charge of your internet. Perfect.
She's on it. She's on it. First, she's going to take care of the border, all the issues on the border, which she's been cleaning that up, and then she's going to take care of the plumbing in your house. So she's got it.
And then she's going to wire up your internet, kind of like she wired up black people to be executed.
Creates jobs, building a modern power grid. Our grids are vulnerable to storms, hacks, catastrophic failures with tragic results.
You know, God damn it. The Texas grid was vulnerable only because you put measures in place to stop them from opening up old plants for bullshit environmental reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They could have met the load demands. You didn't let them. That's all it takes is just get out of the way.
Yeah. That's what they do, is they make crises, and that way they can say we fixed the crises. When they don't even fix it, they just they'll reduce the crises by like 30%. They'll be like, look how much we fixed this crisis issue that we created. But they leave out the we created part, and they just talk about the improvements that they made.
During the winter storms. The American Jobs Plan will create jobs that lay thousands of miles of transmission lines needed to build a resilient and fully clean grid. We can do that.
Do we not have power lines? Where did I miss the fact that we don't have power lines? That I'm confused about.
I don't know that. I guess. Well, you live. I mean, I actually live like near a real city, like with people and stuff like that. If you're telling me you have power lines, then I have to take your word for it, because
I have underground. We have underground power here.
Oh wow!
Like all of our shit is underground. You don't have to.
Better. That's even better than what I got.
You don't have some janky ass wire coming from a pole to your house, like some bootleg 1950 superhero movie. We have all sorts of shit running under. All the cables run underground, but I mean, we're
gonna dig them up.
Of power lines.
We're gonna dig up the power lines from your house, Nick, and then we're gonna replace them. And that's going to create jobs. Come on, we could do this.
Thank God. Thank God.
Look.
Lucky these osteoporosis ancient ones don't break a wrist when they clap.
American Jobs Plan will help millions of people get back to their jobs.
Yeah, get
back to their careers.
Back to their careers in pornography.
2 million women
in pornography.
Out of the workforce during this pandemic.
Because they all joined OnlyFans.
2 minutes. And too often because they couldn't get the care they needed to care for their child or care for an elderly parent.
This guy's bored.
Help.
That's because you closed the child care facilities.
100,000 families are on the Medicare waiting list right now to get home care for their aging parent or loved one with disability.
A stunning success of that government program, Medicare. Good work. Oh, Kamala just orgasmed. I accidentally paused it on her O face right there. Oh God. The second husband must have a love ends controlling with his phone right now.
If you think it's not important, check out in your own district, Democrat or Republican. Democrat or Republican voters. Their great concern, almost as much as their children, is taking care of an elderly loved one who can't be left alone.
Because you made a government program, you promised it would take care of them, and then you don't fulfill it because the government never does what it says. Ah!
Tell us how you feel, Nick.
My freedom boner is limp.
Medicaid contemplated, but this plan is going to help those families and create jobs.
You're right. There's 47 people there. There's no way that clapping could be nearly as loud as they're making it.
And only half of them are clapping.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way.
The Republicans are clapping one at a time on a rotation. Like you'll occasionally see Lindsey Graham stand up and clap, or Ted Cruz or Mitch McConnell. Like it's one at a time with all, they're like, okay, I guess we got to do our thing.
Seriously, you can count off 15 people there that you know are almost never clapping, from John Roberts, who they never clap. There's seriously, and in those first 12 rows, you're right. At least half of them are never clapping. That's got to be piped in clapping.
Look at John Roberts with that virgin sit. His knees are like touching. Man spread out. You've got no one anywhere near you. Sit back, recline, grab a beer, listen to Uncle Joe. Like, what's he doing? Look at how he's sitting. Oh, it pisses me. It's actively making me mad right now. I'm not even kidding.
He looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like basically infused his body with her soul. And like
he is by merit the greatest constitutional lawyer in the country right now. And look at, he's got this diminutive sit. He is more powerful than anyone in that room except for maybe Joe Biden. And he's like, it's all closed off. Like, geez, spread them out, man. Watch a football game in your mind. I hate it.
Cycle growth. For too long, we've failed to use the most important word when it comes to meeting the climate crisis. Jobs. Jobs. Jobs.
Oh, no one's ever said jobs and climate change in the same sentence. Revelatory.
It's a climate crisis. It's an economic crisis. It's a racial crisis.
For me, when I think climate change, I think jobs.
Oh, is that what you think?
American Jobs Plan will put
Weird, I
engineers
think
and
hoax,
construction workers to work building more energy efficient buildings and homes.
If there was any way of having more efficient homes and places, we would be doing that.
Do you know how much it costs to build an energy efficient home when there's an existing home? Like if I want to buy my house, I pay what I paid for my house. If I want to build my house, I pay twice as much. Easily, based on the current regulations. And that's not with a green energy efficiency in mind, because my roof suddenly goes from costing, I don't know, $30,000 to $40,000 to costing $80,000 to $100,000 to have a solar roof, for example. Like it's not even close. It's not even comparable. Oh, we just got these jobs, build new green efficient housing. No one can buy it because people are still limited by their economic thing. So unless the government's going to come in and supplement, which they absolutely should not, the reconstruction of homes, and it's hard enough to get a fucking thing built right now anyway. You're talking months and months and months, triple wood prices, triple concrete prices. You're not getting shit built right now. Oh, we can get a green new. No, you're not. You're not going to get anything built. You're not going to get anything built at any reasonable price right now. It's already a 6 to 12 month wait to get It's a 4-month wait on furniture, Joe.
It's not just that, though. It's not just that. It's that these solar panels, these wind turbines, 3/4 of these different green energies that they use, they actually have to expend more energy in creating the solar panels than the solar panels end up creating during and harnessing during their existence, because they're only good for like 3 or 4 years. And they actually have done studies where they find that these solar panels that they create, and we had over here in my city that they were putting in solar panels until they realized that they had a half-life of like 3 to 4 years, and the energy and expense in creating the solar panels was more energy than those solar panels actually collected during their entire lifetime. So you're not even saving energy. It's a waste of energy. There's just more carbon output, but it's a great way to virtue signal that you actually care about the environment, even though you're making the environment worse than if you never tried engaging with the solar panels. So go spend your $80,000 on your roof there, Nick, for solar panels, which God only knows if you're actually going to be saving the amount of energy by using solar that was invested into the creation of those panels.
I would actually unironically love a solar roof and a Tesla power wall or whatever. I think that's a wonderful thing for me to achieve and strive for on my own. But I don't think that the government should be doing that. They can't afford it. And if you suddenly mandate it everywhere, no one gets anything built forever.
Right.
It's the quickest trip to stagnation. Michael Wheeler says watching Pelosi struggle to stay awake is kind of funny. Looks like she's blinking in Morse code. Yeah, she is. She's blinking in Morse code, talking about every time she blinks, she's sending a signal to sacrifice another baby to keep her alive. Bob Jones says, hey, Nick, Run Don't Walk Productions has a YouTube community post with a bingo card for the State of the Union address. There's your drinking game. No, I don't need a drinking game. I don't want to die. Here we go.
Electrical workers, IBEW members installing 500,000 charging stations along our highways so we can own.
Oh, good. Put a charging station in for a rest stop so people can get raped while they charge their Tesla. That'll be great.
So we can own the electric car market.
Nobody wants electric cars.
Farmers planting cover crops so they can reduce the carbon dioxide in the air and get paid for doing it.
Why don't you plant wheat? Try that. Wheat, corn, rice, anything I can eat. Soybeans so that Joe can eat. I don't plant food.
What was
not
that?
You, Joe Biden.
You see how this sucks? You thought it's not a real issue. It's an issue. It's a problem.
No, just plant food, not a cover crop. Don't pay someone to not plant food. You know when they did that? Do you remember when they did that? I remember. Do you remember when they started paying people to plant not food?
Yeah, to not plant. That's the same time when they were paying people to burn cheese or something like that. Because the price of wheat was tumbling down, so they wanted people to not grow stuff.
It led to one of the single worst constitutional law decisions in the history of the Supreme Court, Wickard versus Filburn, 1929. I think it was. When they put a cap on the amount of wheat you could grow, and a guy tried to grow wheat for himself, not to sell. Mm-hmm. He's like, because they were trying to jack up the price of wheat. I don't want the price of wheat to go up. I want it to go down. I want the price of corn down. I want Cheerios to cost less. Why is this so hard? Oh, I'm so pissed.
Look, think about it. There is simply no reason why the blades for wind turbines can't be built in Pittsburgh instead of Beijing. No reason.
There's a lot of reasons. Unions are a big fucking reason, Joe.
Minimum wage is another reason. You want to jack
pathetic.
up he wants to jack up minimum wage, and then he's going to say no reason we can't build it here. That just become completely cost ineffective.
It's insane that it's cheaper to build a turbine blade in Beijing, put it on a boat, and ship it to the U.S. than it is to build it in Pittsburgh. That's the reason, and that's a really big reason. It's a turbine blade. Like, one, I don't care where they make them. Like, this isn't like a semiconductor, right? This isn't something that's some like advanced crazy technology. I don't care if a Chinese person makes my wind turbine blade that I don't even really want because it messes with my landscape and kills my fucking birds. I don't care about that at all. There are many things that are made in China that I would much rather be made in the US. Turbine blades, like if they're going to do it cheaper, it's just a big giant piece of polymer. Why do I care where it's made?
I'll tell
Make
you.
it as cheap as possible.
I'm going to tell you something. Most things, and his whole pitch here, this shows how little he understands about your brain or my brain or anyone who's remotely on the right and how we think. Most of this speech you're going to see is dedicated towards investing in America, buy America, buy America. And I think he feels like that's a unifying call, like we're all Americans, we're all into buying American, and doesn't realize that no, you're spending my taxes. My money is what you're spending. I don't want you to spend an extra 20% so you can buy it from some American who had to pay someone working $15 an hour. I don't mind if I buy that product out in China where they're able to pay someone $4.50 an hour or 20 cents an hour, whatever they had to pay him to build that wind turbine, especially since I don't want the wind turbine in the first place. You can be investing so much money into it. So why do you have to buy it from an American? I'm not benefiting from that. There's some things that are better created in other places. There are other things that are better created here. A healthy global economy is where we are investing in things that we are able to make as cheaply and efficiently and effectively and as possible, while the other places where they have other competitive advantages make their stuff as cheaply as possible, and then we trade. That's how you have a healthy global economy, which is what we're going to be living in for the rest of humanity's lifetime or until World War III. So this idiot here is like, no, we have to go buy American. And because we're going to jack up minimum wage, and then the unions are going to say, hey, I have to take an hour and a half break every day, so we have to stop working here. You got to stop working. Hey, Paul, what's crazy? Why are you still working there? And you got to take your break now. Yeah, that's why everything costs so much here, and he wants to spend your tax money, Nick, and I know how much your taxes are. He wants to spend your tax money on wind turbines that he's paying through the nose because he's got to buy them from Pittsburgh instead of buying them from Beijing.
I would much rather let China make every wind turbine in the country and let Americans make nuke plants. Like put nuclear power plants all over the place. Put one in Joe's backyard. Put one everywhere. Put these little small nuke plants that are too small to melt down or whatever. Those things sound cool. Let's make those and then let China make all the wind turbines they want, and we'll just stop buying them eventually when we go, hey, whoa. You know what's interesting is that this nuclear stuff has less fatalities than wind power.
And it's greener.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay.
None. No reason. So, folks, there's no reason why American...
Hold on. Look at my man. Look at how he's clapping.
Wow.
Hold on. This guy, the black dude, he's on his fucking phone. He doesn't care at all about what Biden is saying. He heard, it's clap time. So he holds his phone and he's clapping back of the hands.
The visual clap.
What a jackass. You can't sit for an hour. This guy is, I'm assuming, a Democrat politician. You can't sit for an hour through a Biden speech.
There's no reason why American workers can't lead the world in the production of electric vehicles and batteries.
What?
There's no reason.
Wait a minute. Are we not leading the world in the production of EV vehicles and batteries? That
was my question. I was like, who's making more electric cars? First of all, who's buying electric cars? Because no one wants to actually drive a little golf cart on a highway. I don't know why. They just don't. But who's making more than us? Who? I want to know. I want to meet the guy. Who? Which country?
I don't know, because Tesla is leading in electric cars, I think, and I think they're running roughshod over everybody on battery tech, and Tesla manufactures here in the US.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I think and when I heard this, that's when I realized, hold on, most of what he's talking about is probably just BS. It's probably like he's just making stuff up as to like what the facts are, so this way he could be like, hey, we have to fix it. And then like next speech, he can say, hey, look, we fixed it. It's better now.
China is trying to take Tesla's technology and produce in China. Sure. Tesla buys batteries from China. Are we sure? I mean, I guess I could believe that. I don't know. I'm asking legitimately. I thought Tesla manufactured batteries here in the US. But I'm happy to be wrong on stuff. That's my question. Random Blaze says, let's not forget the pollution created in making and recycling those batteries and the power to charge those EVs. Let's not forget that the power infrastructure to charge those EVs is not there and can cause even more strain. So there we go.
You have the capacity. You're the brightest, best trained people in the world. The American Jobs Plan is going to create millions of good paying jobs Americans can raise a family on. As my dad would then say, with a little breathing room.
I don't want a job with a little breathing room, Joe. I want to get rich. I don't want your shit plan. Oh my God, just get out of the way. Get out of the way. Let people. This is the most baffling thing in the world. Oh, the government's going to create some middle-class jobs with an extra 2% so you can occasionally go to the movies and support the Oscars. Fuck off. Get out of the way. Let me make something. I hate these people. I hate them.
All the investments in the American Job Plan will be guided by one principle.
Gay.
Buy American. Buy American.
We're going to get ripped off on everything we buy.
Note parenthetically, that does not violate any trade agreement. It's been the law since the 30s. Buy American.
What's the law? What law is he talking about?
A New Deal era law, clearly, to buy American. That was apparently that's been the law. I don't know why it's since the 30s, because I'm pretty sure buying American has been a law forever, that you could buy American when you do government programs. I'm not sure what he's talking about on why that's since the 30s, but he's trying to, this man, if this man could exhume FDR and suck him off, he would. I'm not even kidding. It's, oh my God. He's like, I remember when I was attending FDR's graduation from kindergarten. I was an old man then.
Dollars are going to be used to buy American products made in America to create American jobs. That's
give me 5 minutes, bro. Okay.
What?
Give me 5 minutes, bro.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course. Definitely.
All right.
Put a double
in this administration. And I made it clear to all.
What was that, Goblin?
People, their ability to give exemptions has been strenuously limited. American products. Now, I know some of you at home are wondering whether these jobs are for you. So many of you, so many of the folks I grew up with feel left behind.
Joe, the people you grew up with died in the Civil War. What are you talking about? They feel left behind because they're in the ground. Cledge Fenrir says, well, any of these green jobs go to making any new nuclear energy? No. Not holding my breath on that, though. There's some of the cleanest energy you can get. Yeah, it is, but of course not. Of course not.
Forgotten. In an economy that's so rapidly changing. It's frightening. I want to speak.
Joe, the people you grew up with have literally retired. How old is Biden? Like, non-meme. Joe Biden, when did they say he was born? He's 78. The people I grew up with feel left behind? What 78-year-old is out there like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to upgrade my career and move along with the times now. You're 78 fucking years old. Nobody you know is working. Come on. Becky Stratton says, exactly. Exactly. I mean, this is insane.
Speak directly to you because you think about it. That's what people are most worried about. Can I fit in? Independent experts estimate
No.
the American Jobs Plan will add millions of jobs and trillions of dollars to economic growth in the years to come. It is a 8-year program. These are good paying jobs that can't be outsourced. Nearly 90% of the infrastructure jobs created in the American Jobs Plan do not require a college degree. 75%.
Oh, I'm glad all the 78-year-olds will be out there shoveling asphalt onto the pavement in 100-degree weather in Oklahoma.
Don't require an associate's degree. The American Jobs Plan is a blue-collar blueprint to build America. That's what it is. And it recognizes something I've always said in this chamber and the other. Good guys and women on Wall Street, but Wall Street didn't build this country. The middle class built the country, and unions built the middle class.
There it is. That's it. That's all you needed from this speech. It's a union buy-up. By the way, have fun with your union job. You will never, ever catch me in a fucking union. No, thank you.
So that's why I'm calling on Congress to pass Protect the Right to Organize Act, the PRO Act, and send it to my desk so we can support the right to unionize.
I thought he was talking about reducing. No, he didn't talk. He didn't actually say anything about making anything less expensive. Just buy American. So buy American and support the right to unionize. So you've just added 40% to the price of everything.
And by the way, while you're thinking about sending things to my desk, let's raise the minimum wage to $15.
Yay.
No one working 40 hours a week. No one working 40 hours a week should live below the poverty line.
They still will. The poverty line is relative. It's relative. 80% of median income. Oh my God. If the minimum wage goes up, the poverty line necessarily fucking follows, because the poverty line is not indicative of purchasing power. The poverty line is relative to median fucking income. This is the goddamn dumbest man ever to take office. I can't take it. I can't take it.
We need to ensure greater equity and opportunity for women. And while we're doing this, let's get the Paycheck Fairness Act to my desk as well. Equal pay. It's been much too long.
We have 30 million different pieces of legislation for equal pay for women. How the fuck are they not getting paid the same yet? You've passed tons of laws, but we all know the truth. Women actually, hour per hour, on average, in the same industry, in the same position, get paid more than men. It's men take nastier jobs, period.
And if you wonder whether it's too long, look behind me. And finally, American Jobs Plan will be the biggest increase in non-defense research and development on record. We'll see more technological change. And some of you know more about this than I do.
Every one of you.
We'll see more technological change in the next 10 years than we saw in the last 50. That's how rapidly artificial intelligence and so much more is changing.
Kamala's like, I hope for artificial intelligence. That'll be good, because then I don't have to pretend.
And we're falling behind the competition with the rest of the world. Decades ago, we used to invest 2% of our gross domestic product in America 2% of our gross domestic product in research and development. Today, Mr. Secretary, that's less than 1%. China and other countries are closing in fast. We have to develop and dominate the products and technologies of the future. Advanced batteries, biotechnology,
Duracell, man.
computer chips, clean energy. The Secretary of Defense.
You're right. You're right. You know what? You know what the U.S. hasn't been doing? Oh my God. He's so right. The U.S. hasn't been advancing any of those things so far. I mean, AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, none of those are American. Oh, wait a minute. They are American companies. That's right. Apple, Microsoft, the other people developing independent chips. They're literally all of them. We lead the world in we don't mass produce semiconductors here in the United States. We develop them here and then we outsource a lot of that manufacturing to China, sure, but we lead the fucking planet by a long shot in semiconductor technology and microchips. Oh my God.
You get so bogged down with facts. Like, stop getting so worried about facts. Just let him go. He's on a roll.
I'm going to put a bunch of facts into a 9mm and put it to my head pretty soon.
Did we lay down when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No, because we're Americans.
I tell you, and those of you who work in national security issues know, the Defense Department has an agency called DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. The people who set up before I came here, and that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, literally the founding of the country.
Breakthroughs that enhance our national security. That's their only job. And it's a semi-separate agency. It's under the Defense Department.
Tell us more about
It's
DARPA,
led to
Joe.
everything from the discovery of the internet to GPS and
The discovery of the internet. They found it. Wow, we found this internet here.
so much more. Enhanced our security. The National Institute of Health, the NIH, I believe.
You know why DARPA works, by the way? DARPA is actually a really fucking cool government program. It's the only way you should do a government program. What they say is this. DARPA goes, here's money, and here's what we want. And the first private company to create this will get the money.
Really? Is that how they really work? It's all private agencies that are working for them?
Yeah, DARPA puts out, they go, okay, we want, they wanted a better Band-Aid, a better field bandage, whatever that looked like, whether it was like an actual like adhesive bandage or some sort of spray, whatever it was. And they said, we want it, and it has to coagulate this fast. It has to take care of a hole of this diameter, you know, dealing for different accountability of bullets or whatever of different calibers. We need it to do this, this, and this. And here's what we want. We need something to fill this. And they put it out, and fucking then private companies all compete and try and make the product. And they know at the end of it is a fat ass government check. But the cool thing about that is they're investing their own R&D into it, and they're competing, and the R&D of the other companies isn't waste, because it doesn't matter what they end up making or developing. They can use that even though they're not getting the military contract. It's an actual really cool program. It was like the X Prize. It's like, this is how all government programs should work. Allow private companies to build the thing. So you're not just throwing like, you know, money at Solyndra, for example. Thank you, Obama. You're not doing that. Instead, you go, we need a solar panel that hits this much, this many kilowatt hour productions, has this long of a half-life, and has this sort of price tag on it. And if you do that, we'll outfit all military bases in the US with a solar farm to help as a backup energy grid. And then lo and behold, a bunch of companies go, hey, we're in solar. We can do that. I mean, it's a little beyond our current spec. We'll work towards it. We'll refine our process. They've given us some parameters and guidelines to go by. Now we have a target, and they try and hit it.
And that way they know that if they hit that target, they get a big fat payday coming. That's kind of exactly what Operation Warp Speed was with respect to developing a vaccine. Let's get all the private companies to do their best and see who can come up with the best first. And then we'll get a fast track approval. And that's how we had 3 vaccines come out within the span of 6 months of when we discovered this virus.
And the best thing about that is there's no meaningful federal outlay until there's a result.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there are various problems with DARPA. It is a government program. However, it is an efficient program compared to we're going to develop this thing by spending a bunch of government money to have government researchers develop it. It doesn't ever work that way.
Yep.
And by the way, he's talking about the National Institute of Health. Let's talk about how quickly the government adopted the precursor to chemo when all of the government agencies fired the guys who were creating the precursor to chemo because they're like, oh, you're going to kill the cancer patients. And they're like, they're dying from the cancer. Just let us put a bunch of poison in them to try and fight the cancer if they'll volunteer for it. And they're like, nope. So they fire those guys. They go out and they found fucking MD Anderson down in Texas, and they create the precursor to chemotherapy, which would eventually go on to reduce cancer deaths by 85% in this country. I'm so fucking...
Don't hold back.
A similar advanced research projects agency for health. And here's
what do you think we just did with Operation Warp Speed? This thing you've been taking credit up for the last hour here. What do you think that was?
Literally just did it.
For that singular purpose, to develop breakthroughs to prevent, detect, and treat diseases like Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cancer.
Kamala went for the clap and stopped. She doesn't want diabetes and cancer fixed. Remember, Kamala doesn't like black people. She definitely doesn't want diabetes fixed.
I'll never forget when we passed a cancer proposal last year as vice president. Almost $9 million going to NIH.
$9 million?
That sounds like a joke.
You sent a rounding error on a fucking Government Accountability Office lunch bill to NIH. We're supposed to be proud. That's smaller than private donations made by tech conglomerates. What are you, 9 million? That's nothing.
That's less than the big guy got in the Tony Bobolinsky deal.
I mean, $9 million? You sent a middling MLB player's salary to the NIH? Oh, fucking thanks.
I've excused the point of personal privilege. I'll never forget you standing, Mitch, and saying, name it after my deceased son. It meant a lot.
Oh, good.
But so many.
How about your other son, the one with all the underage pictures on his laptop that he doesn't remember losing?
Yeah, he loves invoking Bo. He has invoked that kid's name so many times throughout his politicianhood that it's disgraceful. I'm sure that kid is turning in his grave for how many times his dad has basically raped his legacy by just invoking his name.
See sons, daughters, and relatives who died of cancer. I can think of no more worthy investment. I know of nothing that is more bipartisan. So let's end cancer as we know it.
Let's send another 9 million to the National Institute.
That'll do it. That'll fix it tomorrow.
Like, what does it take? What does it take to end cancer? What's the price tag? Figure it out. Why haven't they? Again, this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, it is a bipartisan issue. Why haven't you guys put like $20 billion legitimately just into cancer research. Why can't they do that? Why haven't they done that? They've spent $20 billion on all sorts of stupid shit. They'll spend, what, $500 million on gender research in Iran.
Yes. I was just about to give that example. Literally, they spend $25 million on Iranian gender research. And
we can't spend a 50th of that on cancer. God damn it. Yeah, just make cancer illegal. There you go. That'll work. We'll have a ban on cancer. That'll fix it. Look, you have designated cancer zones in hospitals. Other than that, you don't have any right to carry cancer around.
It's within our power. It's within our power to do it.
Oh, God. I keep seeing cancer.
Double mass cancer.
Jobs and infrastructure like the ones we're talking about have often had bipartisan support in the past. Vice President Harris and I met regularly in the Oval Office with Democrats and Republicans and discussed the jobs plan. And I applaud a group of Republican senators who just put forward their own proposal. So let's get to work. I wanted to lay out before the Congress my plan before we got into the deep discussions.
Put a $200 tax stamp and a background check on cancer. You'll get rid of it immediately.
I'd like to meet with those who have ideas that are different, they think are better. I welcome those ideas.
Do you?
But the rest of the world is not.
I have some better ideas, Joe. Will you meet with me? Meet with me on YouTube. 1v1 me live, bro, on YouTube. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Do be prepared for him to use the conversation in a story sometime down the road in his next speech. He'll be like, I was talking to this young man from Minnesota.
I was talking to a lawyer from Minnesota, drunk guy, complaining a lot about communism and fascism. And I said, listen, man, come on. Oh.
I just want to be clear. From my perspective, doing nothing is not an option.
And yet somehow he's been doing that for 5 decades.
Look, we can't be so busy competing with one another that we forget the competition that we have with the rest of the world to win the 21st century. Secretary Blinken can tell you, I spent a lot of time with
Secretary Lincoln?
I think he said Blinken.
Over 17,000 miles with him. They come over 24 hours in private discussions with him.
He could be having flashbacks, though.
When he called to congratulate him, we had a 2-hour discussion. He's deadly earnest.
Deadly earnest.
Deadly
becoming
earnest.
the most significant, consequential nation in the world.
Oh, we had. Yeah, you're right. The United States is not the most significant, consequential nation in the world. We got to get up to that status. Oh, man. For just decades, we've been lagging behind in being significant and consequential. Oh, my. Where do these people live? What are they talking about? Joe, help me.
Apparently, see, what you didn't realize is that apparently during the whole COVID crash, we fell way behind Norway and Finland. That's what the left is always telling me. Norway and Finland are way more advanced than us. They're really number 1 and 2. Then you got Germany, the UK. France is definitely way ahead of us. All these countries.
Don't forget Cote d'Ivoire.
Right.
What about the Tonga? What about Madagascar? Laos? I mean,
yeah.
Where would we even be without Laos?
They're certainly much less racist. Every one of them is much, much, much less racist than us, and that maybe is what makes them number 1. Also, I'm not sure. The only country that's behind us apparently is Russia. We're slightly better than Russia.
Oh, thank God! Thank God.
Because that's only because of Putin, though.
Autocrats think that democracy can't compete in the 21st century with autocracies.
What?
It takes too long to get consensus.
You literally are that.
Yeah, he is Mr. Autocracy. How many EOs has he written in the last 20 minutes? He's probably writing an EO while he's giving this speech.
Well, his aide is, and he's going to go back and sign it thinking it's a prescription order.
We also need to make a once-in-a-generation investment in our families and our children.
Oh, we've never made an investment in our
That's
families
why
and
I've
children.
introduced the American Families Plan tonight.
Oh, okay.
Which
Thank God.
addresses four
He literally did. He literally wrote an executive order.
of the biggest challenges facing American families and in turn America.
Let's hear what this
First
plan's
is
about.
access to good education.
Mhm.
When this nation made 12 years of public education universal in the last century, it made us the best educated, best prepared nation in the world.
That's literally untrue.
I don't
It
think
is.
we've
It
ever.
is so fucking far from.
We've never had the best education on the planet. I don't
We are
believe that's
nowhere
ever.
even close.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I actually looked it up after he said that. I actually looked up where we ranked in our education, and I was shocked. Do you know the numbers that
It's-
I found?
Oh,
What
we're
are-
so far behind.
I was surprised we were all the way up at number 6, because I think that we have so many stupid youths today. I'm like, how the heck is our education?
We're only at number 6 because Biden is president. If Trump was president again, we'd be at 35 easy.
Yeah, it's probably true. Like number 5 is like South Korea. It's like, yeah, obviously South Korea is our main competitor. You have to hear. I think the next line he says here is actually pretty funny.
Here we go.
He quotes his wife.
Oh, thank God.
It's, I believe, the overwhelming reason that propelled us to where we got in the 20th century. But the world's caught up or catching up. They're not waiting. I would say parenthetically, if we were sitting down,
We were
put our
literally
cards
catching up to
together
the
and say,
world.
okay, we're going to decide what we do in terms of government providing for free education. I wonder whether we'd think, as we did in the 20th century, that 12 years is enough in the 21st century. I doubt it.
12 years of indoctrination is not enough.
12 years is no longer enough today
Mm.
to compete with the rest of the world in the 21st century.
Oh my God. You're going to mandate school for even longer? Oh,
He's not mandating. He just wants to make sure that America is willing to pay for it.
he's not mandating it yet.
That's true.
That's how it goes, right? It's first you make college free for everybody, and then everybody goes. And then you go, well, since it's free for everybody, everybody should go longer. Now you got to spend 16 years. We don't want you entering the workforce till you're 22, man. Come on. I can't.
That's why my American Families Plan guarantees 4 additional years of public education for every person in America, starting as early as we can.
Awful.
The great universities in this country have conducted studies over the last 10 years. It shows that adding 2 years of university.
Oh, if we just pay us for 2 years automatically, everything will be better. The universities conducted a study and concluded that more university education would be beneficial. Well, Lottie fucking Coca-Cola conducted a study and found out that if everybody drank Coke, they'd be happier and all jacking off all the time. Yeah, of course. NVIDIA conducted a study and found out that their graphics cards are more fulfilling than AMD's. This is the dumbest shit on the planet.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was actually, and I was just looking at your study there, which said that people who actually watch Riquetta Media nightly are 25% more based than the rest of society.
Not only that, but people who super chat, if we just government mandate super chat money in for viewers so they could automatically super chat, they will find happiness in their life beyond. I mean, what are they going to do? Watch Viva and Barnes? Oh my God. No, they got it's insane.
Yeah.
This study brought to you by the Riquetta Law Institute. Oh my God.
High quality preschool for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old, no matter what background they come from.
No matter what background, even if they're illegal aliens. That's what that means. Even if they're illegal aliens.
You keep your grimy fucking sniffs away from my 3 and 4-year-olds, you old perverted pedo.
Yeah.
Ugh.
3 and 4-year-olds. 3 and 4-year-olds. They have to go to school now.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a teacher who has to deal with a classroom of 3-year-olds? A public school, not a this is going to sound really, really awful, but
No,
not a
what, everyone, racist moment coming here. Go on.
no, not a racist moment, but this is not a daycare full of 3 and 4-year-olds, right? This is not a bunch of kids who are accustomed to going to daycare because their parents work and the parents like do some research like my parents did and send me to a daycare where they play fucking Cujo for the first graders. This and Purple Rain. This is, and they steal my Transformers. Miss Gwen, you fucking bitch. That was mine. They're talking about every kid. A lot of kids at 3 don't belong in a preschool.
That's true.
That's a really, kids are so developmentally different. Like you can meet 10 3-year-olds and they are not the same, not even close.
Yeah. And it's also, by the way, if you're coming from like a single parent home, they're going to develop slower than if they're coming from a 2-family home, because when you have a single parent home, they don't have the same attention from like some caregiver who's been given to them. You know, if their mom is out the whole time having to pay for the family, they're not maturing at the same rate because the babysitter's plopping them in front of some kids program all day. And they're just not going to be the same thing, as opposed to like these, you know, some rich parents who's sending their kid to some 3-year-old play group, which that kid is going to very often be around, you know, for the first 2 years of life, had a mother who was sitting there nurturing the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I've had 5 3-year-olds now, and one of them was potty trained at 2. Another was potty trained when they turned 3. Actually, they said to us when they were 2, I'll stop wearing diapers at 3. And then on their 3rd birthday, legitimately never wore a diaper again, never had an accident. It was amazing. But then we've had other 3-year-olds who were not potty trained till they were 3.5, almost 4. Like kids are just different. It's how it goes. Fucking hate.
All the way through 12 years, and increases exponentially their prospect of graduating and going on beyond graduation.
Yeah, those critical 3 and 4-year-old years really help out the graduation. Fuck me.
Just chose when a young child goes to school, not daycare, they're far more likely to graduate from high school and go to college or something after high school. When you add 2 years of free community college on top of that, you begin to change the dynamic.
This is insane.
You can do that.
This is insane. Dr. Jill Biden. We can do that.
We'll increase Pell Grants and invest in historical Black colleges and universities.
It's like literally the Trump playbook. Literally the Trump playbook. It's like, oh yeah, Trump did the whole historically Black college universities. I should really mention that too.
But I'm sorry, if you're giving universal access to 2 years of college education, why is that investing in traditionally Black institutions? I thought that's investing in community colleges, which are not traditionally Black institutions. They're just community colleges.
I don't really even understand what's 2 years in community college supposed to do. Community colleges don't
associate's degree, a nursing program, a vet tech, not a vet, but a vet tech, you know, a massage therapist.
If it's some trade school that you can go from high school into this trade school, I'm much more supportive of that, because I think too many people go to college and get some stupid liberal arts degree where they plan on being a journalist one day, and they spend,
hey, you listen here, you son of a bitch. You mark your next words carefully.
And they're wasting time learning, you know, calculus or you know, or advanced chem. It's like, why do they have to know this stuff, or critical race theory, or, you know, I took a case of race. I took a class, racism in the American justice system. Why? Why? I thought it'd be an easy A, and basically it was. I spent 3 months sitting in a room with 11 other Black people, all of us complaining about the fact that we were Black. That's literally what it was, and that's back like in the 90s.
I took critical approaches to literature, and it was the exact same thing except gay instead of Black. Not even joking. All of us gays sitting around talking about how hard it was to be gay. Fucking hell.
That would bother me more.
Already serving
That would bother me a
institutions.
lot more.
The
Because
reason is,
you're sitting there, everyone's thinking, oh yeah, Nick's one of us. Like with me, I was literally sitting there with 12 black guys, and we were all sitting there saying, like, how, oh yeah, all white people are evil. They're all out to get us.
Yeah. Yeah.
they don't have the endowments. But their students are just as capable of learning about cybersecurity, just as capable of learning about metallurgy, all the things that are going on that provide those jobs of the future. Jill is a community college professor who teaches today as First Lady. She's long said,
Can you imagine taking her community college class and having like 4 big ass Secret Service dudes in the room, making sure she's not assaulted by a community college student who's probably drunk? Oh my God.
she's long.
Let's see what Dr. Jill says.
If I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. Joe, any country that out-educates us is going to outcompete us.
Yeah, really? Since when? When?
You've
When
heard
did that
that
happen?
1,000 times?
This is the deep insight from Dr. Jill. She's a doctor, so don't question her methods. Don't question her insight. She is a doctor, and she is no more questionable than Dr. Fauci. So she says whoever can out-educate us is going to outperform us. When is the last time we were the top educated country?
Hey, I'm sorry. Joe, have you heard of Finland? They are out competing us like crazy.
Right. But the weird thing is Finland is on the list behind us. So
Who's ahead of us? You said South Korea.
South Korea, number 1 was Canada.
Oh.
Global superpower Canada. Yes.
The world's doormat.
Number 2 was Russia.
They're out competing us. Russia's number 2 on the education front.
Number 2 was Russia. I don't.
What is did they major in squatting? Like, what is this?
No, Russians. You can imagine. I mean, come on. Russians are hardworking sons of. Yeah, they'll kick your ass. They're hardworking.
Hardworking ass kickers, yes, but I don't. When I think, you know what, who's leading the world in education quality? I literally never think Russia is up there.
I wouldn't think Eastern Europe, but Russia, I'm not surprised. It's like basically learn this or we'll throw you in a gulag kind of thing. So that didn't surprise me. Japan was number 3, and Israel was 4, South Korea was 5, and America was 6.
Oh, Japan and Israel outcompete us all the time.
Yeah, obviously, world domination right there.
She'll be deeply involved in leading this effort. Thank you, Jill.
Oh, good.
Second thing,
our country's being run by Dr. Jill and Kamala.
And will provide access to quality, affordable child care. We guarantee
Yeah.
Why do you need quality, affordable child care if every fucking 3-year-old is going to be in public school?
Seriously.
What?
I was just having the exact same question in my own brain. I guess for kids that pop out of the womb. So,
yeah, I guess you got to have cradle to grave. It's got to be cradle to grave.
Right.
For the Democrats, they hope that cradle to grave happens before they even come out of the womb. But here they are talking about childcare and caring about children. Again, this is the party of mass abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about black children when they literally murder more black babies in the womb than are born. And they're going to talk about
is that really true? There are more abortions per year than black births?
More black abortions per year than black births. Yeah.
Wow.
It's the saddest fucking statistic that exists.
Wow.
Proposing the legislation, we guarantee that low and middle income families will pay no more than 7% of their income for high quality care for children up to the age of 5.
How on earth do you do that? How on earth is that even a plan?
I spaced out. What was the plan?
Families will pay no more than 7% of their income.
Oh yeah, that's not possible.
For high quality education for kids from 0 to 5.
Yeah, I don't. No, for daycare, he said, for like daycare, right? No more than 7%.
Yeah, for high quality daycare.
Hold on,
I
but
mean-
think about this, because he wants to raise minimum wage, so the daycare workers have to be making minimum wage.
Yeah.
So if minimum wage is $15 an hour, and you need them for at least 45 hours a week, because you need an extra half hour. You're going to work 8 hours a day, so it's like at least an extra 15 minutes each way. So you're going to basically need them for like 42 hours a week. So you're talking about $700 a week, right? Am I doing the math right? $700 a week. That's not 7% of your 700 a week. It's not going to be 7% of your income. What
are you talking? You talking $2,800 a month isn't 7% of
yeah, $2,800 a month, according to him, will be roughly no more than 7% of your income.
That's for what, one kid?
I don't even know, but I'm just saying you have to be paying minimum wage.
You got okay, so you got, let's say at the worst case scenario, 0 to 5, you got what, 5 kids in daycare? Right? That, like, if you have a kid every year, you could have 5 kids in daycare. But let's say it's 3. You're gonna have 3 kids in daycare paying guaranteed no more than 7% of that family's income. Really? How in shit are you gonna do that? I don't know, man.
The numbers, no lefty numbers ever come close to adding up. It makes absolutely no sense what he's saying. 7%. 7%. Really?
The most hard-pressed working families won't have to spend a dime. Third, the American Families Plan will finally provide up to 12 weeks of paid leave and medical leave, family medical leave.
Oh, man.
We're one of the few industrial countries in the world. No one should have to choose between a job and a paycheck, or taking care of themselves and their loved ones, or parent or spouse or child.
Don't choose between a job and a paycheck, y'all.
And fourth, the American Family Plan puts directly into the pockets of millions of Americans. In March, we expanded tax credit for every child in a family.
By the way, what he just said and all of the other shit they're proposing is why I will never hire an employee. I will only work with independent contractors. 12 weeks of paid leave for a small business. Are you kidding? Over a fifth of the year you're going to give them? What? Why would you ever hire a woman?
It's crazy. They're looking to give it to men also.
I know, but men are less likely to take it. Women are likely to take it because if they get pregnant, they're going to take the 12 weeks, right? Or why would you hire a married man, I guess, because he might take the 12 weeks. Why in Christ would you hire anybody? Everything will have to be an independent contract. Everything. And the way we're moving, it's going to go that way. Like the death of the retail industry in general. Why do you need a 9-to-5 on anything that is not retail? Like in all honesty, what do you need a 9-to-5 for? Legal work happens 9-to-5 because courts happen 9-to-5. But most of the work, like a lot of the actual grunt work that you do, researching and drafting, doesn't happen 9-to-5 because that's your marketing hours.
Service industries, hairstylists, all the service industries, I think, have to do that. You're right that the retail markets have basically.
They don't have to though, because like a hairstylist could work from 5 to 9, right? Or whatever, 1 to 9 for an 8-hour day. If they wanted to, they just typically work 9 to 5 because that's when everything around them is open. And so they want to catch people on lunch breaks. They want to catch people when they're going home. So they might work 10 to 6 or 11 to 7 or something like that. So they can catch people after work. But There's no reason for a 9 to 5 position. Once you kill the retail industry entirely and you get rid of this traditional business hour sort of motif, and COVID has shown most people that that's not necessary. You don't need to go into an office anymore, right? Everybody's telecommuting. Well, if everybody's telecommuting, nobody needs to work 9 to 5. Best Buy figured this out a long time ago. Best Buy said, you don't have a schedule. Just work your 40 hours a week and get your job done. That's all. At
they're
all
all
levels of
independent contractors. So they're all independent contractors for Best Buy.
They're not, but they could be. They could move them to that if they wanted to. And imagine like relieving yourself of the burdens of healthcare payments and all of that stuff. If you wanted to, go ahead and do it. Or be a good independent contracting company and offer those things in addition to the contract, but just say, yeah, we're not going to have, we can't do it. But as a small business, what, you're going to hire someone who's going to get 12 weeks off?
Yeah, it's true. You can't do.
No,
you can't survive. You can't survive that.
Sorry, I got an elderly parent. Fired. You're fired. I can't have you take 12 paid weeks a year off. There's no way.
Yeah.
I do hate Best Buy, BLT. You're right.
Up to $3,000 per child if they're under 6 years of age. Over 6 years of age. And $3,600 for children over 6 years of age.
I wish I qualified for this plan.
2 parents, 2 kids, that's $7,200 in the pockets to help take care of your family.
You know how much I would make off of that? 5 kids? Oh my God, I make a fortune.
I know.
And that will help more than 65 million children and help cut child care poverty in half. And we can afford it.
Oh, we can. Can we?
We can. He's paying it. He's laying it out. You know, I got to point out to you that you could always cut child poverty in half. Because even if you cut it in half, you can still cut it in half again and still cut it in half. You can give the same speech in 5 years, in 20 years, and 100 years. You can always cut child poverty in half. It's the most empty, meaningless word salad imaginable.
We can afford it. We're coming off of one of the biggest deficit years in the history of humanity because
America is one of the richest countries on the planet and in the history of the planet. So we can
shut
afford
up, Bernie Sanders. America is so rich. We can take care of everyone. $25 an hour minimum wage.
We passed. But let's extend that child care tax credit at least through the end of 2025.
Yeah, through my administration.
The American Rescue Plan lowered health care premiums for 9 million Americans who buy their coverage under the Affordable Care Act. I know that's really popular this side of the aisle. But let's make that provision permanent so their premiums don't go back up.
Their premiums are gonna go up. Of course they're gonna go up. They always go up. They've gone up every year forever.
Yeah, Obamacare only made it worse also.
Intensely worse.
Mm-hmm.
Unreasonably worse.
Yeah.
I'm about done. We're not gonna make it through this speech, by the way.
That's okay.
There's no way. I can't do it.
I don't blame you.
Plus, I have to go watch My Cousin Vinny tonight.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. I just... What were you going
to say? My biological clock is just picking away.
You said this was something.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's give this just another couple minutes before I lose my mind.
In addition to my family's plan, I'm going to work with Congress to address this year other critical priorities for American families. The Affordable Care Act has been a lifeline for millions of Americans, protecting people with pre-existing conditions, protecting women's health, and the pandemic has demonstrated how badly it's needed.
Oh yeah, the Affordable Care Act was a big.
That
Oh
was a
my
big win.
God.
Yeah, that's been like a massive success, huge success, landmark. That's really if you're ever going to figure out what a success is, that's the yardstick right there. That's the yardstick. Is it as good as American? Is it how what percentage of goodness compared to ACA is it? That's what we have to measure against. Ugh.
I can't take it. I can't take it. People
Did
are
he-
telling me to skip to the last 10 minutes.
Did he get to the part about rich people paying their fair share and the 650 richest 1%?
No.
Oh, he didn't get to
No.
that? Oh, okay.
Should I skip to the last 10 minutes? Did you
Yeah,
watch
sure.
this whole thing?
I did watch this whole thing. I don't remember the last 10 minutes being particularly great, but it can't hurt to skip there.
I'm going to skip. I don't know if we're even going to watch the last 10 minutes, but we're going to start it here.
All right.
God, this guy fucking drives me insane.
More than 2 weeks ago in the Rose Garden, surrounded by some of the bravest people I know, the survivors and families who lost loved ones to gun violence.
Oh, fuck me. Why would you do this? You tell me to skip there. You put me here. You put me at this part of the speech.
No. There we go. There we go. Let's talk about the gun violence. Let's talk about all those poor, innocent black folk who've been gunned down by them cops, those racist cops who are constantly trying to figure out what darky can I kill today.
Several of the Department of Justice actions that are being taken to impact on this epidemic. One of them is banning so-called ghost guns.
Oh, ghost guns. Yes. Okay, so you're a gun guy. You can tell me, has anyone ever been killed has there been criminal activity with a ghost gun ever before? Do you know what a ghost gun is, right?
Well, it depends on your definition of ghost gun, but if you mean a gun with a serial number that doesn't exist, then yeah, there has been criminal activity with guns without serial numbers.
No, I'm talking about where you could just like recreate. You can create a gun from like nothing, like MacGyver doing it.
3D printed guns, I'm not aware of any. There have been murders with homemade guns, yes. But those are typically, the 80% lowers that you get. You drill some holes in them, and then you add some parts or whatever. You have an operational firearm. Yes, there have been some crimes with those. They don't have serial numbers, and those are legal. Those are specifically legal, and they have been forever. Even when they implemented all of the bullshit with the National Firearms Act and gun registration and all that stuff, because before 1936 or whatever, there was no serial number on guns. Like that didn't exist. That was not a thing. People think that that's been a thing forever. It has not. And they specifically carved out a thing where if you're making your own gun, you don't have to put a serial number on it because it's yours. You only have to get a serial number to transfer a firearm to someone else. So yes, there have been homemade guns used in it. I'm not aware of any 3D printed guns that have been used in it, but they use these interchangeably. They talk about ghost guns, and they want people to think of 3D printed guns, even though those are not the source of any crime that I'm aware of. And to be clear, the number of guns used in murders is overwhelmingly legal, quote unquote, legal guns, legally acquired with registration numbers on them, with serial numbers. They might steal them from someone. They might have been transferred illegally, whatever it is, but the overwhelming majority of crime is committed with a gun with a serial number on it, not a ghost gun. This is just the most disingenuous bullshit that exists.
Well, he's the gun expert. No one knows more about guns than Joe Biden. So I want to hear his thoughts about, gun control.
These are homemade guns built from a kit that includes directions how to finish the firearm.
Oh no!
That's right.
The parts have no serial numbers.
No serial numbers.
So they show up at crime scenes. They can't be traced.
Oh, wow.
How many crime scenes do they show up at, Joe?
Hundreds of thousands.
The buyers of these ghost gun kits aren't required.
Ma'Khia Bryant was killed with a ghost gun.
No, they're not required to pass any background check because it's not a gun. It's just a lump of metal. It's literally a lump of metal.
That's what the government needs to outlaw. They need to outlaw metal. That's the problem. If Americans have metal, the next thing you know is that metal becomes guns. So that's what we need
without
to
a joke, if you outlaw an 80% lower, then they just make a 75% lower. And if you outlaw 75% lower, they make a 50% lower. If they outlaw 50% lower, you make a 0% lower. And it's just a block of steel. And then you take a CNC machine and you mill it out, or you get a programmable CNC and you mill it out, because that's, and by the way, in-home CNC machines already exist. The Ghost Gunner 3. What are you going to do? You're going to make it illegal to have a CNC machine in your house? You got to have a license for that machine shop there, mate. Like, what are you going to do? At some point, it's just a lump of metal. You're going to outlaw blocks of steel? Oh, sorry. You got to temper. You got to get the iron, and you've got to fucking forge it into steel or smelt it or whatever. What
You're going to get coke. You're going to get like coke and like coal and like melt it into like get that big lava thing in your house. They're going to
It's just insane.
Anyone, a criminal or terrorist, could buy this kit and within 30 minutes have a weapon.
A criminal or terrorist just goes to the alley and buys one from Ray Ray in Chicago in less than 30 minutes. Why would they go through the
Toledo.
process of fucking milling out and assembling a machine? Like, anybody with a drill can make an 80% lower. I mean, kind of, but you got to have a drill. You got to have the right bits. You got to have a clamp. You got to have all sorts of stuff to do this. And you have to have a small amount of skill. You can't just, it's not just like 30 minutes you make a gun.
30 minutes. That's if you're like, filing your nails in between. I mean, who needs 30 minutes? I can get it done in like 18 and a half.
It takes no skill and no time and less money to literally go to some guy in Chicago, Detroit, any major metro area. This is why criminals largely don't use homemade guns. They just go buy one illegally or legally. It's not like they're hurting for supply here. There's lots of guns around. They just go buy one. This is the dumbest shit ever.
That's lethal, but no more.
No more. I like how he looks confused into the distance. No more.
Gun violence, but it's time for Congress to act as well. Look,
Maxine Waters standing up there in her little blue suit.
My man, look at that. There we go. Chad Ted with the come and take it mask on with a fucking cannon on it. Come and take it, Joe. Ted, don't let me down. Oh my God.
I don't want to become confrontational, but we need more Senate Republicans to join the overwhelming majority of Democratic colleagues and close the loopholes required in background check purchases of guns.
There isn't a loophole in the background check.
That's a classic lie. That is the classic lie. What's the loophole? Tell us the loophole. What's the loophole? What's the loophole everyone's been relying on? Close it.
There isn't a loophole.
I know.
Go literally anywhere and go, hey, by the way, can I get in on that little loophole action? Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna walk into a gun dealership, be like, look, I need a 9mm, but I need it on that loophole to avoid the background check. And he's gonna go, I'm sorry, fill out the form and do the background check because that's a federal requirement. The quote unquote loophole is a private transfer of guns somewhere, which of course there's a big reason why private transfers aren't required for a background check. You know the person. You know them. That's the whole idea behind a private transfer of guns, is you have some responsibility and liability in transferring that firearm. And the idea is that you'll take that responsibility and say, I'm not going to just sell this to a random guy walking up with like, a prison tat on his arm.
He's going to close the loopholes. If not for the Republicans, he'd be closing these loopholes.
The only loophole he should close is a noose around his own neck.
We need a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
A ban on small weapons and high-capacity magazines? What the fuck is a small weapon? I think he means assault weapon.
Yes. Did he really say small weapon? Go
I
back.
think so. Here,
We need a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity.
I guess he says assault. He just kind of slurs through it. What's an assault weapon?
Every gun is an assault weapon, technically.
Once it's used to commit an assault, I think so.
Magazines. And don't tell me it can't be done. We did it before and it worked.
It should be unconstitutional. Why are you banning high-capacity magazines and assault weapons? By the way, the only reason that ban fucking survived is because it never hit the Supreme Court, and you're lucky it didn't. Oh, God. Grim Safric says, I was hoping you could help my closet gay friend Verdant Argent come out to his mom. It's okay, man. You can tell your mom you're a giant queen. Okay.
Talk to most responsible gun owners and hunters.
Liar. You're a fucking liar. Whatever he says next out of his mouth is a goddamn lie.
We'll tell you there's no possible justification for having 100 rounds in a weapon.
You know, the Constitution doesn't say that we're allowed to, that we have a right to bear arms so that we can hunt elk. That's not why the Second Amendment exists. It's not for hunters. It's to protect us from a government. There's no militias that are allowed to be formed under the Second Amendment in order to go to a deer lodge and see who can tab the biggest buck. The reason we're allowed militias is in case we have a tyrannical government. Tyrannical government, they're not going to be stopped by some pistol that fires off 7 rounds. So none of this has to do with what hunters think.
By the way, the 100-round capacity, those 100-round mags they jam up all the time. People don't tend to use them. I think the kid in Newtown had a 100-round mag and had to switch to a handgun because his mag it jams up. 30-round mags are popular for a reason. It's not a lot of people walking around with 100-round magazines. They don't work very well. Also, oh my God, loading a 100-round magazine, you would want to kill yourself by the end of pumping those rounds into the fucking machine.
Who can actually buy 100 bullets anymore anyway? So
yeah, that's the other problem.
What do you think, deer wearing Kevlar vests?
No, the home invaders are, you fucking Alzheimer's riddled pile of shit.
They'll tell you that they're
What does a Kevlar vest have to do with a 100-round magazine anyway?
Nothing at all. Nothing.
Like, if the deer's got a Kevlar vest on, I'm sorry, but I think a 308 might go straight through it anyway. Maybe I'm dumb. Unless it's got ceramic plates on, I don't think a Kevlar vest is stopping a hunting rifle round anyway.
too many people today who are able to buy a gun but shouldn't be able to buy a gun.
Who?
These kinds of reasonable reforms have overwhelming support from the American people, including many gun owners. The country supports reform, and Congress should act. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. And no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
You know what? There we go. Where's my non-absolute slaves? Where's my non-absolute slaves? Can we get rid of the voting rights for Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris? Because the 19th Amendment isn't absolute. What the fuck are, what are you
what
talking
that means
about?
it's not absolute. Does that mean we could ignore it? Is that what he means when he's saying it's not absolute?
Yeah. I mean, that's his only thing, because we have our reasonable restrictions already. So he must mean we can just ignore it. 13th is on the menu. What about that income tax? Is that not absolute either? The income tax amendment? What about that congressional pay raise? The 27th amendment? Is that one absolute, where Congress can't raise their own pay in the same session? What about that one? That one seems absolute. A lot of the Here's my favorite, Joe.
Mm.
What about your freedom from from cruel and unusual punishment?
Yeah.
That's not absolute, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, did you follow that case in the Mississippi versus Jones? You saw that whole discussion there?
No.
Mississippi versus Jones was talking about whether it was analyzing whether or not the right to give life imprisonment without possibility of parole to a minor is considered cruel and unusual punishment or not.
But here's the distinction, though. If they determine that to be cruel and unusual punishment, you have freedom from it. Absolutely.
Right.
So there is that is an absolute amendment, because there's no thing there where they go, this is cruel and unusual punishment. However, you're the exception to the amendment. Sorry. You have to have your fingernails peeled off with pliers. Look, I mean, it's really unfortunate. We are going to have to shove toothpicks through your testicles and burn off your eyelids with a Bunsen burner. But that's just because you're the exception to the 8th Amendment. That doesn't exist anywhere. Almost all the amendments are absolute. I can't take it.
Just to do the lawyer thing and finish that case up, their finding from the court was that it's not only not it's not a violation of the 8th Amendment, but even if the court never bothers to prove that the kid is incorrigible, meaning even if the kid in theory just went on some crazy shooting spree and he was like a hothead for like 10 minutes and was always a good kid, that would not be an excuse to say that you can't give him life. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I like what Scalia said. Of course, the death penalty isn't cruel and unusual punishment. The only penalty for felonies at the time of the founding was the death penalty, and they executed kids all the way down to 12 years old. Why would that be cruel and unusual punishment?
Well,
just
that was disallowed by Roper versus Simpson. You can't execute kids anymore. But
and Scalia's like, why? He's like, why? He's like, why is that a constitutional thing? Pass a law. But the Constitution absolutely considered executions of minors, at least down to age 12, as far as we can tell, as not cruel and unusual punishment. Because at the time of the founding, that was it. Felonies for 12-year-olds and up were executions, all felonies. It's like, so it couldn't have been cruel and unusual punishment. But he's like, so if you don't want to execute kids because society's changed, pass a law. No one says you have to execute kids. Just pass a law. And that was the correct answer, by the way. Just pass a law. How unpopular would that be? Oh, we've got a Republican only initiative to not execute children from 12 to 18 years old. Man, I don't know if that's going to pass. Doesn't have Democrat support. Really? Anyway, someone said what he says next is going to drive me mad. So I'm going to listen to that and then I'm going to end this.
All right.
You can't yell fire in a crowd of
motherfucker. All right. I'm done with him. I've got a bunch of chats to read, and I am finished.
That was great.
With Uncle Joe. Oh my God.
You didn't think that was a good comment from him? You didn't think it was profound?
Hey Joe, can you yell fire in a crowded theater?
You can't. No, hey, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
You can though. Lots of times you can. What if you're in the play? Of course you can.
That's true. I'm fat.
What if you run out and yell fire and no one moves and no one gets injured? Of course you could yell fire in a crowded theater.
Right.
There are also, what if there is a fire in a crowded theater?
You also you may be prohibited from doing so without facing potential civil liability. But yeah.
Where? Like, maybe civil liability, maybe, but criminal liability. Find me the state that prohibits the yelling of fire in a crowded theater. I don't think it exists. I do not think that law is on the books because I don't think it would survive constitutional muster.
That's interesting.
Because what if there is a fire, right? Like if there is a fire, you can definitely yell fire in a crowded theater.
No, if you just said that you thought there was a fire.
Of course.
That's a defense, which is why it would be a stupid thing to make a law.
Yeah. And And because if you tried to make it a law, you would wrap up otherwise constitutionally protected speech, like from the actor in the play, or from anything, any number of scenarios.
I
It's a
think
dumb thing.
that phrase though, I think was created by the Supreme Court when they were talking
It's
about free
in
speech.
it's in dicta from Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. It's the dicta in a case about two socialists who were protesting the draft. A case, by the way, if that case came before the Supreme Court today, I guarantee you they would have ruled the opposite way. And it was overturned. That was Schenck. It was overturned in Brandenburg versus Ohio. So Schenck is no longer good law. That was from dicta because, of course, socialists can pass out pamphlets that say you shouldn't honor the draft card, right? Like that is the most overtly political speech that exists. And they're under pressure to do it. And Oliver Wendell Holmes spent the rest of his career ruling the opposite way, mitigating that decision.
Really? It seems like you've thought about this before. It seems like this whole thing has crossed your mind once or twice before.
It has. It was a bad decision. It's a bad line from the decision. It's from the dicta, so it's not even controlling law. It's always cited by morons like Joe Biden. And anybody who's looked into it goes, oh, no, this isn't correct at all. God, I hate it. I hate it. Listen a bit longer? No, I don't want to. Night of Hope says, I see a lot of big government retards in the chat tonight. Really interesting. Wonder if YouTube is responsible for that in some way. Hey, to you jackbooted assholes, do you realize Joe Biden is proof that we shouldn't trust the government to do anything right? Good Logic, a boomer.
Yeah, everyone calls me boomer. That's actually...
He says, no, that was the name of the person who donated.
Okay. Thank you.
They said, Good Logic, your Streamlabs is not working. Also, Joe Biden is an idiot, as rebuilding your home to be more energy efficient requires a lot of energy, hence carbon input. Lol. Joe Biden saying he will fight China. He is under their thumb. That's a good point. The energy output of building a new home probably outweighs several decades of energy efficiency gains. So nice work. Mario Carter 13 says public high schools are failing for some reason. That's why everyone should go to college, the government. Tab says, my district is leading the way on these diaper kids in pre-K all day. They did a study, lol, and call it the word gap and assert that dumb, poor kids are only dumb because their parents don't talk to them normally and they don't hear 40,000 words by X age. Yeah, the word gap's an interesting sort of, it's an interesting thing. But we never talk to our kids like they're babies. We always talk to them like they're people. Joe Hunter loves pegging. Says government and research and development. A lot of the money is so wasteful. Hashtag the F-35. The U.S. spent $1.6 trillion and is not fully combat ready with range of issues. Also, electric cars are retarded when fossil fuels generate 60% of electricity in the United States. I'll agree with you. Someone sent... Max sent in some weird lettering. Conservative Republicans literally do not. Why did you fucking write everything backwards? God, I hate you. Do not care about the contributions in this diesel and I'm not going to read this. Pointing them out will not make them change their mind and is only good for engaging in political blah, 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 blah.
Okay, he asked you to go. You went as far as you could have on that one.
The letters are all backwards. My brain is broken. Jack says, this is a real quote. Conservatives, Republicans literally do not care about the contradictions in their beliefs and stances. Pointing them out will not make them change their minds and is only good for engaging in political schadenfreude. Your thoughts? I think no one cares about the contradictions in their beliefs and stances at a general level. It takes people have to get into a specific place to challenge their own convictions. Doesn't mean that they're not willing to do it. It means that political rhetoric isn't effective at doing it because it's coming from an untrustworthy source, which is the opposite side. So you have to get people into a political space where they're prepared to engage their own beliefs with evidence and change their mind. That's not limited to conservatives or Republicans. That's a people condition. And it's a very smart reason that we all are still alive today, by the way. If you believed everything some random idiot told you, we would all be dead tomorrow. That's a safety mechanism.
Skepticism is healthy.
Skepticism is healthy, but you have to skepticism of your own beliefs requires you to be in a place where you're ready to challenge them through trust, not through Joe Biden says so.
Right. No, that's right. Skepticism of foreign information, of a foreign source is a healthy. That's a defense mechanism.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. It's why you don't eat berries in the woods, but you eat an apple instead, because the berry might kill you. Hero Yui 45 says, we have the Second Amendment to hunt elk, just like Australia fought and lost the Great Emu War. Night of Hope says, calls to action aren't speech anyway. This is the thing. If you're telling someone they're in imminent danger, that's coercion. That's not the same as freedom to convey information and communicate about non-imminent dangers and problems. Wrong. Your yelling fire in a crowded theater might be an art piece, might be performance art. You can't limit speech just saying, well, it's just conveying information. Free speech is free speech. And there may be civil liability if you cause someone injury. Sure. That doesn't mean that you have remembering, of course, that free speech is Congress shall make no law stating that you can't say it. Bad Dragonite says, all this BS Joe is spewing, I'm sure all those totally unbiased and 100% agendaless fact checkers will be covering this speech. Totally. Yeah, they've all said it's the greatest speech in history already. Mario Kart.
It was pure 100% word salad. This whole speech. It was all words. It was just like platitude, empty phrase, made up fact, some statistics, and then saying, "Come on, we can do this. We're America. We can get there. I believe in us."
They say end at 58:03. Best place to end the video. Ted Cruz shines. It's 56:50. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's just over a minute.
Peter, from the very beginning, there were certain guns, weapons that could not be owned by Americans.
Name fucking one.
No one could own an AK-47 back in 1789.
You could if they existed, because you could literally own a warship.
but no one could own one back then. They hadn't been invented, so no one could own one. So he's technically correct. According to PolitiFact, we say this is mostly true.
The literal equivalent of today's nuclear weapon in 1791 could be owned privately and was borrowed for the Revolutionary War. This is insane.
Certain people could not own those weapons ever.
Who?
Insane people.
Not changing the Constitution.
Who? What law was that, Joe? What federal law was that? The first federal gun regulation passed in 1934. Which law are you talking about? They couldn't own it ever. Who?
Constitution. We're being reasonable. I think this is not a Democrat or Republican issue. I think it's an American issue. And here's what else we can do.
He's talking about the blacks. Yeah, he is. He is. You're right. But those weren't people. Those weren't people under the Constitution. Literally, in the definition of people, they were not included.
Immigration has always been essential to America. Let's end our exhausting war over immigration. For more than 30 years, politicians have talked about immigration reform, and we've done nothing about it. It's time to fix it. On day one of my presidency, I kept my commitment and sent a comprehensive immigration bill to the United States Congress.
And you destroyed?
We need to secure the
our
border, pass it, because it has a lot of money for high-tech border security. If you believe in a pathway to citizenship, pass it. It's over 11 million undocumented folks, the vast majority of here overstaying visas. Pass it. If you actually want to solve a problem, I've sent a bill to take a close look.
Oh, that's perfect.
Hold on, we're gonna watch that one more time. Watch the eyes of Ted Cruz.
If you actually want to solve a problem, I've sent a bill to take a close look at it.
Oh shit. Oh my gosh. That was
totally
magical.
worth it. That was totally worth it.
Here we go. Let's look at I'm gonna get those eyes there we go. We're gonna just leave that up while I read the rest of the chats.
That's awesome.
God. Mario Carter 13 says, just deny, don't dig your grave for them. That's going back to the guy with the work problem. Cars in Depth says, did you see how the DOJ won't give Capitol Ruckus defendants, lawyers full access to security video, claiming it will be used to plan more attacks? No, I haven't been following that, but that's extra shitty of them. Bad Vibe says, what you talking about, Good Logic? Don't make me get out my Chuck Norris Karate Commando figures. You think the nose is the only boomer here? Cars in Depth says, for Good Logic, what school of Musar do you hold by? Slobodka or Novardak? I'm sure I massacred those. Says you strike me as Slobodka.
Yeah. As far as he's asking me what type of, go on to the next one.
I don't even know what that means.
It'll take me 10 minutes to explain it. It'll literally take,
you can't just pick one?
What?
You can't just say one or the other?
Slobodka.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Nikuyasha says, Nick, you skipped my earlier 20. I don't think so. What the hell? God damn it. I read the missing person milk carton one. Missing person milk carton one. And I think I read, hold on, just double checking, make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I didn't. Okay. So that must've been sent just before I read it. Nikuyash says, never mind, your boomerism is catching up to me. Okay, there you go. Eddie Most 1000 says, LeBron's lifetime deal with Nike is valued at approximately $1.2 billion. You know, he says the wrong thing or gets accused of sexual assault, and that deal goes away. Bad Dragonite says, rip to El Racistas, the Mexican laughing guy. Aw. Ryan79 says, holy hell, the dementia is strong with him. Free men die free says, people don't realize Biden declared war on the Bill of Rights in that speech, and his interpretation of we the people was a perspective of collectivist totalitarianism. 200-watt studio says, get out, Gestapo! And I'm her husband. Seedfan85 says, if it's first/second husband, why isn't it first/second wife? That's a good question. Shouldn't it be first man or second man? Because it's lady. Or should it be Lord? What would the male alternative?
They called him second man, didn't they?
And they call him second husband.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
What would you call him? Would you call him second man? Because it's not woman.
Second.
It's lady.
Second gentleman.
It's first lady. Yeah, I guess gentleman. Gentleman has to be. Question mark says, a bit more information. My full-time job is at Walmart. I live in Virginia, and every apartment in my price range gets bought as it becomes available. Oh shit. Yeah. That's rough, dude. Sorry to hear it. See if you could transfer to a different Walmart or something. Not applicable says, this is an economic crisis they created, by the way. Yep. Mario Carter 13 says, America is on the move. War back on the menu, boys. Not applicable says, Biden's teeth make him look like an aging moose. Ed's afternoon show and John Stern, welcome to paralegal status. Thank you for joining the channel. Ash B says, hey, Nick, any tips on beating Mithrix with Bandit on Risk of Rain 2? I can get to him easy, but beating him is near impossible. Well, first of all, I don't know what your build is, but the trick to beating Mithrix is simple. Get up high. Just get on the high ground, on the outskirts. Both the shotgun and the rifle for the Bandit have plenty of range. You can hit him. Just get up high on the outskirts. He can't shoot up high. Mario Carter 13 says, Nurse, another round of shots turned down for what? Onakomi says, it's like this speech was written for people who got all their social cues and norms from Hallmark movies for divorced moms. Oh, no. Mr. Kill Everything says, can you tell Banana Docs to stop banning me from his chats? I love participating in a Banana Doc stream and even tip the streams. I do not deserve this. I can't, man. If I showed up in his streams, I would be banned and probably sued. Serial Foxy says the ratio would be positive if there was a laugh track instead of a clapping track. Ed's Afternoon Show, thanks for the donation. Dalacourt says that attempt to say Build Back Better is Lil Joey's dropping his new mixtape tonight. Yes. Rhinoceros Rex says, praise the Omnicia, a vaccine has been found. That was, yes, vaccines on Mars. Ryan79 says, this guy gets less and less lucid as the speech goes on. Not Applicable says, discovering vaccines on Mars gave us the internet. I'm really glad they did that. Wolfgang Deo says, I was under the duress of 9/11 when I took an oath in order to serve in the military. I no longer recognize it as binding. Automata says, Biden won me over with his Martian vaccine. Wolfgang says, also children cannot consent, so the Pledge of Allegiance is questionable in ability to bind besides conditioning. Not my land. The Pledge of Allegiance cannot bind anybody anyway. It never could. Lord Xenu Save says, is this dude really a lawyer? In a now deleted vid, he thought a lawsuit to pay employees unemployment was because it was considered property damage.
When did I say that?
Are you talking about you or me?
I never said that. A lawsuit to pay what? One more time?
Pay employees unemployment was because it was considered property damage.
I don't remember ever talking about employees unemployment. I never would have covered that topic. So it must be you.
I don't remember saying that. I don't remember covering that.
I never covered unemployment. So.
Lord Xenu, you have any more details on that? I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Breck Nichols says, will BLM sue Biden for banning menthol cigarettes? Yeah, did you see that? Biden proposes a ban on menthol cigarettes. Blacks most affected is like the meme headline, but of course it's for the good of the black people who are not allowed to make their own decisions around their health.
Wow. Yeah, that is the most racist thing in the world because they do. I mean, there was even on Dave Chappelle once had a piece where he was like some game show that he was doing on the Chappelle show where he was supposed to ask a black anything, and one of them was like, why do black people like menthol cigarettes? And he's like, I don't know, we just do.
Alan Rees says, thanks Nick for the video on locals 5 hours later. Joe Biden is your new overlord. Wait for the secret handshake. Argentina MP resigns for milking a woman on the internet. Attaboy. What do you mean? Video on locals 5 hours later. What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Is locals messing up with uploads or something? Not Applicable says Turban Blade. Yes. He also says all the fashy F slurs going to be mad at your for free trade. Well, I'm for getting me the best product at the cheapest price. I really don't. I will buy American when it makes sense. But at the same time, like, if America made a cell phone that cost $4,000, I'd buy the one made in China. Mm-hmm. Not going to lie. Most people would too. Lord, I wish we were competitive manufacturing, by the way. I would prefer America to be competitive manufacturers.
The reason we're not is because of the left and their unions and their minimum wages.
Exactly. Lord Shulk says nuclear is the future. I want them in cars and TVs and adult toys and gaming PCs and toaster ovens and everything, and hope we avoid October 23rd, 2077. Booker DeWitt says Joe Biden was born before Velcro was invented. Peter Pete says, didn't Biden say Trump was racist because Trump was America first? Uncle Joe said also nationalism is bad, but is America first? Yep. That's Joe. He's just taking the parts of Trump's playbooks that don't involve mean tweets and running them. Brian Daniel says this message sparks joy. I feel double plus happy. Serial Foxy says, after sending the super chat, I've found that my life is now 32% more fulfilling. True story.
I told you that's the study from Raketa, the Institute of Raketa.
Yes.
I proved that.
Jack Frost says, here's my government mandated donation to the Rekieta Law School of Based Living. Amoeba says, hashtag Joe Sniff Biden. Not applicable. Says high quality means security, so Biden can't sniff them. Also says, by the way, doesn't matter. Murder equals reason to have a gun. 1.21 gigawatt says, your time has come to master the samurai sword, Nick. Look, while you were studying super chats, I was studying the blade. Automata says, I like kits that don't tell you how to finish them. Mario Carter says, the assault weapon ban worked. Columbine says, hi. Oh, shit. Sneed says, as far as I'm concerned, the only reason I need to own a gun is because I want it. Any other reason is a cherry on top. Exactly. Exactly. Because I can. Fuck you. Oh my gosh, we outperformed the likes on the Biden video, on the Biden speech. We've got 1,500 likes. He's
Nice.
down at 1,400. So I guess I have to have some more gin.
Winner. Is this a record for you? Did I pass a record with you?
No.
I know. Shut up.
Sorry.
I know. Have you ever had 2K? 2,000 likes?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Joe, I for a while, I had a minimum of 4,000 and 5,000 viewers a night during the height of the Vic stuff. It was and I would get to 8,000 to 9,000 sometimes. For some of the depositions got over 14,000 viewers concurrent. It was crazy.
Yeah, well, I mentioned, I felt that the bar here was very high because I was coming in here. You've been having Drex a lot, and he's basically like a younger Samuel Jackson, but like better built and funnier, like based as hell. So yeah. So like that bar, I have to catch up with a guy who's able to like talk about women looking like German shepherds. How am I supposed to compete with that? That's like
it's not even possible.
I can't say that. I can't say that.
You can't out racist Drexel kid. Don't even try. No, actually, just the other day on the Chauvin Verdict live stream had over 2K likes, had over 8,000 people watching. So that was pretty wild. LTRT says First Amendment is in danger. Brian Hall says at the end, Joe says we the people means Congress. Lamau. Oh my God. Ghost 5103 says if the FBI finds a copy of Hunter's laptop in the Rudy raid, could they charge Rudy with CP? In theory, yes. It's a strict liability crime. Robert Stratton says, let's thank the Ninth Circuit for permitting free 3D speech printing, just like the USG had to do with free cryptography speech with PGP. When will these people learn? They won't. Jonathan Schneider says 2020, quote, Drumpf is a fascist and we must rise up. 2021, quote, give up your guns because a senile neolib demands it. Not surprising, but still funny. Wick Dipper says, Joe, balls or no balls, and why is castrated the only answer?
Oh, I already answered this question a long time ago. I've been
you
on
did.
This many times, yeah.
You did. Cledge Finrear says, Second Amendment right to bear arms doesn't sound like it limits to firearms. So I should be able to have a claymore, not practical, but about right over practicality. Yes. The right to bear arms does cover every single arm that exists. However, because of the shitty decision in US v. Miller, we have quote unquote reasonable restrictions on particularly dangerous weapons. So if you mean a claymore mine, that's what they're talking about. But a claymore sword you can own. Bad Dragonite says you would like the game Cyber Shadow on Game Pass. Okay. No one important says they say with each super chat that is sent to Nick, a child enthusiast Minecraft somewhere in the world, painfully true facts. Ooh, yes, let's make that happen. And then was there any more here? There's just a couple more. We're almost done. Let's see. Mexican Man and Cheese says, I know at least 6 people that make between 75 and 120,000 per year that have talked about moving out of the country. Can't imagine what people that make a lot more than them are saying. Look, if I didn't have a whole family to move, I would already be out of the country. Knight of Hope says, I'm not so sure about that. Don't we have laws against making legitimate threats? If you threaten somebody, you go to jail, right? But what a threat is really, really limited. The speech is literally just anything you can say with a mouth. I'm pretty sure that would qualify. What's the difference? Because a threat is an intent to cause fear of imminent harm in a person. And it has to be specific. Like, it has to be typically a specific criminal act that you're threatening them with. You can't just say, you're going to get it to someone, even if you mean to intimidate them. That's not a threat. So fire in a crowded theater, it's too broad. It's too broad. Shadows King 101 says, I'm still shadow banned on Az's channel, and I can't even tell him, lol, damn his poor aim. I'll send him a message, tell him to unban you. He probably just forgot. Ken's Counseling Couch says, https://ctrlpew.com for the guide, and deterrencedispense.com to download the files. Buy an Ender 3, less than $200, and you'll be able to print guns. Also, subscribe to Ken's Counseling Couch on YouTube and kenscounselingcouch.locals.com. So there you go. Architect of Fate says, Good Lawgic. I've heard about you from Nick. I guess I have to check out your channel now in case I miss it. So, Mr. Lawgic, do you prefer your futa with balls or with no balls? No futa, castration, and death are not an option. # turned into soap. Oh my God.
When I was asked the question the first time, I said, you're the artist, you're the creator, so balls in your court.
There you go. There you go. So he is on the ball squad. It's official.
No, I said balls in your courts.
CJ says, but does it cover arms, girl? Nothing can cover those arms. And balls in your court means balls. So there we go, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
One last thing before we go. I just want you guys to know I do live stream nightly before Nick. I always make sure to end in time to catch Nick every night, Sunday to Thursday, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central, which my time is 10 p.m. to midnight Central. So, yeah, I always end in time that you'll catch the beginning of Nick, even when he's being late and gay.
Go check out Joe's channel. Check out his live streams. Good, fun, provocative, thought-evoking. Check them out. It's good stuff. And he is a good dude, as demonstrated on the stream tonight, of course, and on the several other appearances he has had and will have in the future.
It was great seeing you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know how to play my outro song in StreamYard, so I'm not gonna. But go find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Recato Law. We're gonna watch My Cousin Vinny in just a few minutes when I get some food. So we'll catch you over there. And Joe, you want to hang out for just a second so I can say goodbye or whatever?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace. Night.